That is mindset. You know what I mean? So this is what we say we have to cultivate in ourselves, even from our prophet. So we see another priest especially. So we all the way we are seeing that we are reinforcing the need to document these characteristics that is required, that is demanded of a member of EABIC. You know, from your coming, not just when you're a priest, from your coming. So, you know that way? So, floor is open, my Lord and Empress.
And one
Is the
more thing, my
priest
lord.
supposed to, should the priest, go ahead.
One more thing. It's not just to pray among I and I when I and I is ailing. We are the priests. We are supposed to do it for the general population. I just want to establish that.
Rastafari.
Yes, if we are in a
Yes, I.
community, we live in a community. Say you live in, because most of us is not in a camp environment right now, but we find ourselves in different communities. And ones we know that ones within our community, a good virgin is not doing well, or a good sister is not doing well. It is still part of what we do to go and minister that comfort to those ailing ones, bringing that salvation to their door, putting the food within the children's reach. My Lord and Empress.
Rastafari. Honorable Empress Akim, her hand is up.
Blessed. Um, I think I was thinking I wasn't gonna say this, but I think everyone has an overstanding of it. But I was just thinking, um, what Mama Maisie just mentioned, that the priest should have both the ability to heal, and what was the other characteristic?
Counsel.
Yeah,
Counsel.
counsel. Um, in what aspect? And I ask this because there are many gifts that ones can have. But if one doesn't have the ability to heal, what do you mean? The laying of hands? Are we talking about spiritually, or having knowledge of herbs and things of that nature? Because it can go very deep, you know. And one priest may not have the power to, do certain things, but that doesn't eliminate his power, And so I just wanted to, get ones to expound on that, because again, when we talk about gifts and abilities, not everyone would carry that level of anointing. And I think that it should not eliminate what a priest can do, but then again, studying yourself and then studying ones who serve with you and knowing the abilities, where, say for instance, priest Savannah, someone may need some counseling because something is going on at home. The other priest would know, okay, I'm going to send this family to priest Savannah. you know Priest Imsley may have the ability to heal, prayer, or having the knowledge of herbs, and then ones may go to Priest Imsley, and then things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I'm not we I think we're speaking on it in a very general manner, but
Well,
I like to take things a little deeper sometimes, like really knowing who serve amongst us, and their gifts, and that it not be an expectation of ones to operate at a certain heights that they're not called to, because that's how we really overcome certain things, when we know our gifts and we operate in our gifts. And sorry about that, my phone
I
is
would
ringing.
say it encompasses all manner of workmanship. I
Okay.
mean to say, you know that way there, all
Yes,
manner
indeed,
of
indeed.
healing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because
Indeed.
even as a priest, even on a service order, you must be able to see and feel your congregation. So you can
True.
bring hymns that, relating to the congregation, where you could have a more interactive service than you would have bring some hymn where there's two or three of the them know. You know that way there?
True.
You have
True.
feel and see the people. So you could see the need, so it's a healing, it's a psychoanalysis is a whole
Mm.
range of approaching, because as Honorable Priest has what say, also the altar of life. It's not just the
True.
Melchizedek altar, the altar of life where we walk each and every day moving through, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
I would have say the priest after encompass all these characteristics in
True.
himself to be. And it's not something you go just get just so just show we again it's a building process. You know,
Mm,
because when John named me priest 40 years ago, I couldn't reason like this. I had my
true.
reasoning, you know, so it's something that we attain unto, you know, my Lord and
Mm-hmm.
Empress.
I love
Floor
that.
is
Yes.
open.
Chair,
Bless
besides,
it.
let us to the
My
chair.
Lord.
Yes,
I just
Empress.
want to say this. I just want to say this to support what Sister Akim is saying. Enough ones, enough brethren become priests and they did not know how to read properly. So on the altar and on the roll call, they learned to read. And no man who never know couldn't tell that that brother could not read, right? So every day we learn. You might not have it, but we learn. We learn to pray. We learn to sing. We learn to culture. Look at me. Couple years back, I couldn't do nothing or shy and thing. And look at me now. So I am learning. And every day I am improving, not only on the councils of elders, but I'm on many platforms. Oh, right now, eh, eh, I am doing what I'm doing. Right? So
Rastafari.
yeah, man, you can learn, man. And yes, I
Yeah.
give thanks.
Blessed love. Floor is open for that question. Anyone
David
want that question? Should a priest be a
David was
healer?
calling for the floor. Our Bridget was calling for the floor a while ago.
Bless.
Who
Bless
was
you, love.
calling for the
Priest, I'm
Bless
on
you, love.
priest.
Go ahead, Empress.
No, the Bridget was
Uh,
calling first. Sorry, no,
Adigan, Priest
sorry.
that's fine.
Adigan, Priest Adigan.
Okay.
True. Give thanks for life again. Yeah.
And I have a
As,
priest Adigan.
as it relates to the Melchizedek order, and we know and Christ for this Melchizedek was like unto Christ, you know. So, and one of the titles of Christ is the great physician, and like his majesty say, just as Christ lived an exemplary life, which man everywhere should emulate. So that is who the priest is emulating, that divineness, right? So therefore, yes, while not all might not have the healing faculties, it depends, because one is just thinking about sickness. There's mental healing. You might have a priest that can stimulate the mind if the mind is troubled. It's not just always physical or a ill or a cold or a fever. You understand? Where want herbs or we want this. It could be something psychological where it's not herbs I go deal with it. It's a mental. So, you know, like them say, in other words, there's levels to the thing. And the priesthood is not exempt of that. There's levels to it. You understand? So, to me, him is both. Him is both. Because
And more.
because if him is trying to emulate the Christ, right? He was the great physician. So if I want to be like unto that man, he would have to look. If he try even if him don't even have the components to be that healer, strive to attain them. You know, just like just like the talents and build upon them. You know, yeah. Don't bury them and tell people say you did scared. You know, yeah. So yeah, that's how I see it. They pass on
My
together. You
Lord.
know, because Christ was the
Thanks.
great man,
Bless.
and we emulate. So we should look to be counselors and healers. Remember, one of his titles was Wonderful Counselor and Great Physician. So yes,
My
and
Lord.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord.
Bless.
Give thanks.
instead
And
we come,
God
we should look to be these things, my Lord and Empress. Blessed.
Oh, my
bless.
Lord. Give thanks. Give
Goddess
thanks.
Divine is up next. But before you go, I go show you how you see Dada make we feel so great. Priest has watched his story. When he first come, the first night him there with Dada, a man come in and talk about a nail, joke him getting a him foot. So Dada him ask, But priest as well sit down there as a Rasta man now come in the, in even the hierarchy thing like to say. So if they say, my lord, pong it with a stone and peel off the aloe and put it on the foot. So the prophet now, he hear what the other priest say, but him still ask Dada, so my lord, what me for do? Now hear Dada. Hear this judgment, then you hear the great physician done give the thing already, the remedy already, my lord. And you don't even tell him thank you, my lord.
Yeah.
I hear Dada say, and the great physician done give you the remedy, my lord. And you don't even tell the man thank you. To show you how, you know that way there. So yes, we are healers and all these capacities. And one more note. No, I just see a course and I will encourage I and I see a course that I'm going to take that showing you um counseling, governance. It's couple free course in Trinidad, because Trinidad just get some free things. And I say, I don't want to take advantage of it. To see even from them conventional approach mixed with our rutical approach, we could always make ourselves better. So which part we ever we is, and we see these kind of things, maybe not even spend our money, but we learn something. I will encourage you and I to always seek to improve ourselves. My Lord and Empress, Honorable Goddess Divine.
Blessed love, honorables.
Majesty
I
bless.
would just like to expand on Sister Elder Miriam, Empress Akim, and I think the last priest, Adigwan.
Priest
They're
Adigan,
all
yeah, the royal historian.
yes, priests, and all of them are right. I could only speak on experience, and what I realize is that the Spirit teaches us. The more in depth we go in our liberty and our spirituality. He teaches so much things that we didn't even know that we had in us. So for the past years that I was with my kingman, he was a healer. We used to sit down and we used to counsel persons together, and like the the energy, the frequency was embedded in him. The higher you go in your heights, your spirituality and your liberty is when everything comes to you. So you could do everything across the board, knowing about the herbs, the counseling, the mind, So I think that comes with your heart and how in depth you want to live the liberty of Farai. And everything that's be opening up to you. Your clarity and your knowledge, your wisdom, you get like that just drop down on you. So it goes with the heart and how we
Yes,
live in
yes,
and we
Empress.
get there. My Lord.
True
That's
thing,
it.
Empress. Now, when you're on the journey, just so you can meet somebody and they just come with a key and say, boy, you know how long may I meditate that? And they come right in time. So, yeah, the universe, when you're in tune with the universe, yes, sir. Floor is open, my
So,
Lord and Empress.
through the chair, my lord.
Yes, Honorable Priest.
Yeah, I want to touch on something that the honorable priest Adigan had said. When he was giving his narrative, he said, to be like Christ, and the emperor said to observe Christ, to be more like Christ. One of the things I want to highlight here is that Christ was of the order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek wasn't of the order of Christ. Christ was of the order of Melchizedek. You might ask, what does he mean? Why is he highlighting that? Melchizedek set the standard for the Christ office. Okay? Melchizedek is the standard. See? The man of righteousness. Here is title, man of righteousness, man of peace. So he set the order. Christ didn't come to, like he said, he didn't come to bring anything new. He
Come to
came to
fulfill.
clarify. Yes, to
Yeah.
fulfill and to clarify. See? So he's fulfilling what Melchizedek had set. Give thanks, family.
Rastafari. Get on to the clearance there. A key clearance. Floor is open, my lord and empress. If we don't have nothing, we can go on to the next question because I think we get a consensus, my lord.
Let me
Yes,
say
my
one
lord.
more thing. Can I say one thing, Honorable Chairman?
Honorable priest, royal physician.
Well, what I'm saying, give thanks for the love of each and everyone, all the philosophers, and all the kings and the queens. What I'm saying, the meaning of Christ is Savior, right? So any man who considers himself Christ-like come to save, as Fisher Savannah just pointed out, did give. Father, give the gift.
But don't use it and when you done, put it back. Eh? Anything. Me never hard, Me never hard, make it look like me hard.
Priest Earl, mute your mic.
Yes, Honorable. So I was
Yeah.
saying, as Honorable Priest Melchizedek spoken just now, a little while ago, and say, it's a fact because Melchizedek did give Father Abraham his gifts and his tithes. So everything has to come from Melchizedek because he was the Prince of Salem and the Prince of Peace. The King of Salem then became, and the King of Peace. So everything started from Melchizedek, and Melchizedek is our order that we have to take on for ourselves. They have Melchizedek empresses too present. It's a serious, it's the highest order of the office that we could attain to. And we have to know it within ourselves. That's why we have to find God in ourselves. That's why Dada used to say, what about you? What about when Priest Campbell tell the lady and Dada go back and tell Dada, well, the woman asked, what about Prince Emmanuel, what about myself? And Dada say, well, what about the I? So we have to find back the God in ourselves first. But we have to give homage and give thanks the way it came from. Melchizedek, the Prince of Salem, the King of Peace, the King of Righteousness. Amen. Jehovah, Jah, Rastafari.
My lord. Floor is open.
My Lord and Majesty, examining Hebrews 7 and that. Because that is what the word Melchizedek literally means, King of Righteousness. So yes, it's an order, but it's an order of a being. And just a correction there, Melchizedek didn't pay tithes in Abraham. Abraham paid tithes in Melchizedek because it said Abraham gave a tenth of the spoil unto Melchizedek. So it's not, it's the other way around. It's not
My
Melchizedek.
lord.
Abraham is Abraham.
My Lord, without due respect, if I may say something, Melchizedek give Abraham gifts and tithes first, and then he give him the tenth of the spoil.
All right, maybe me read wrong, but me know when me read.
Well, I ain't saying you read wrong, I know. I could check my research too. I
did a tenth of this.
Yeah, man, it's not a competition. Yeah, man, everything is good, man. Both are right.
It's just love Naphtali. I'm a Naphtali brother that, from London. I'm a brother. You're right, my Lord. You're right. We are all right. Most High, Celestial, Jah, Rastafari. Only love alone.
Just see, right? So sometimes, don't get me wrong, me now try diminish it or small it up, Melchizedek a big, heavy tie could that we carry, right?
Extra large.
When I say, right? Yeah. If we fight for the baby, Melchizedek simply means king of righteousness. First by interpretation, king of righteousness, then after, king of Salem, which is peace. You understand? So just look in the interpretation is in the reading. It says first by interpretation, king of righteousness. So Melchizedek interprets king of righteousness. So yes, it's an order, but it's the order of a king. My Lord and Majesty, bless it.
My Lord, give thanks. What's the third question? Other question, Empress. Moving on.
Yes, before you move on, priest. Just like what you were saying about priest as well, in front of Jah.
Yeah.
Was giving the brethren the remedy. I said where
Yeah.
Iman was in St. Lucia, a man in front of Priest Kailash was telling that, either in back or somewhere was hurting him, right? And I did not even meditate to say, all right, let the doctor, say something. I tell him, say, just stand up flat on him foot and stretch like, him, read something, and continue to stretch and continue. And the brother was doing the same thing what I was telling him. I tell him to do the other hand also. You know what I mean? Yes. But make sure it's in foot. Tape on the
Flat.
ground. Yes. I mean in bottom, in by tighten it as tight as possible and stretch. And so right there the man can feel good. So sometimes, the healing for I and I will fast. And the man said, as long as we fast, you see it, fast and pray, even to say, bless the Lord, it is not much thing we're going, this long prayer night, just even to say, bless the Lord. That was the
My
power
Lord.
of the healing. And then I say one of the highest prayer. We say, glory be unto our Father, unto the Son, unto the Holy One of creation. As Jah was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. So I find out say even the Catholic them use that prayer also with them learn from high and high. So, as priests, sometimes with a doubt another priest too, me maybe can say a whole psalms. But it never did really take a whole psalms. It's only, him to say bless the Lord and the healing kind of done. So
That's
sometimes with self, we say we can't do it. But each priest, as long as you're walking in the Melchizedek way, you carry that healing power, him to say, bless the Lord,
Even to say bless the Lord.
and this is say the priest them now can really touch a one, you know what I mean? And the way when just was showing us, just wash your one another foot, you know what I mean? Yes. So one of those disciples never even want the Christ to wash him foot because him see the Christ so high and he was so low. So, the Christ has shown my example. So it was simple. Just simple wash your brother foot now. One perfect love.
Never praise. My Lord.
Next question.
Next question.
Blessed love. Should
Honorable.
theological studies be part of the priest training?
Read it again.
Should theological studies be a part of the priest training?
Honorable Priest Nappy. Give it the meaning of theological or theology. Because theological is the adjective. Priest Nappy about?
Yeah.
Priest Oswald, you have a dictionary there? All right.
That will be
Empress Diane?
Go ahead, my lord.
You have the meaning?
Theology.
Go ahead.
Somebody have the meaning?
No.
Yes, Honorable.
Theological means
All right, Priest Barry.
relating to the philosophical study or design, purpose, or ultimate goal. It describes the belief that things exist, happen, or develop because they are driven toward a specific end rather than just being the results of the chain of cause and effect.
Like theology?
Yeah. Theology, what it means in simple terms,
Yeah.
theology explaining things based on their ultimate purpose, goals, or design, rather than just the cause of them. It derived from the Greek word telos, meaning end or purpose. This is suggested that things happen or exist because they are working towards a specific result. My Lord and Empress.
And please, Barry, you have it too?
Yes, God.
Read what you have.
All right, I say, theology is the study of the nature of God, religious beliefs, and divine truth. The word itself comes from, like the priest said, two Greek words, theos meaning God, and logos meaning word, discourse, or study. Put them together, and theology literally translate to the study of God. My Lord and Empress.
Read the first sentence again, please.
It's a theology is the study of the nature of God, religious
Okay.
beliefs, and divine truth.
All right. The
My
nature
Lord
of
and
God.
Empress.
My Lord, give thanks. Give thanks for both of the interpreters, my Lord and Majesty.
Honor.
Interpreting angels. Yes, so we understand what theology means, the study of the nature of God and religious beliefs. So the question is, should a priest have put it over again, Empress Trisha?
Empress Dion.
Should theological studies be part of the training?
Oh, priest. Blessed. Give thanks. My Lord and Empress, the, the floor is open as much as that priest reasoning. We give thanks for the input of the empresses them also. Because it's a man and woman kingdom. So priest and priest, what they them think? Should theological studies be a part of our
Yes,
training?
yes, my Lord.
Honorable priest Adigan, my Lord.
To His Divine Majesty Emperor Selassie, I say, we shouldn't just seek spiritual knowledge only. We should seek secular knowledge and theology. The theology carries many fields also outside the study of God. You understand? But
Yeah.
at the same time, at the same time, there's a word in the Bible that said study to be approved, because you can. That's why we have understanding. So you see, yes, I believe say we should have you understand, because check a lot of the words where we use like theocratic and the theological interpretation of that word is God government. God government, right?
Yes.
And then you get the word theology, another Greek word again. So the CEO in that language seems to carry a lot of force in secular movements and secular knowledge. You understand? So
Yes,
so it's understanding theology. You understand? And I like if a man go study Nicaea, study Antioch, study wherever, I know as Rastafari, whether it's our culture or not, we study them because some of these movements affect us, or invaders, or persecute us, so we have to study them to know them. You understand? So yeah, yeah, I would have said yeah, because I see it as part of the secular, and to His Majesty advisor and I, because secular, think out of your own box, don't be frightened to change ideas, what you would perceive from before. When you get the truth, research bring development and show you say the truth where you think it did all, it never quite goes so. Don't hold on to pride now and get arrogant and just want to be stiff-necked and hold on to things because you feel like you've been proven wrong. No, it's not proven wrong. It's what was there at the time, and you hold it, and then with further research, the greater truth come out of that. So
that's the point. My
sharing
Lord.
Yeah.
that,
Bishop.
my Lord.
Give
Correction
thanks.
is
To the chair. To the chair.
my Lord.
Yeah. Honorable
To
priest
the chair.
Adigan, give thanks. Honorable priest Rastafari, my Lord.
Yeah. I will agree with the last statement of the priest wholeheartedly, Honorable Priest Adigan wholeheartedly. But Honorable Priest Barry, if you're there, look up the word secular for me.
Secular. I start with a S, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
S is
Yeah,
yeah.
could I say something upon that till the priest come up with a word?
Yeah, please.
Yes. When I come to the foundation, right, that was a part of the study to knowing ourselves because if I know, say, in the world, you have a theological school where these individuals, when named pastor or priest, do go, right? But this coming like a business. It don't come in like, them find the God within. You know what I mean? So it's still coming like a business where, them drink, they smoke, and they do all type of, you know. And when we say smoke, like cigarette and things like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I come to Bobo Shanti School, I find after, I know that is, part of the studying of the Almighty to know ourselves, to know we are part of, not separate from the God particle. You know what I mean? The man of right in flesh is God. You know what I mean? So if you be asked now, Melchizedek, which one of the theological school did he went? Melchizedek. I think same the born with certain, you know, aspect of that God particle. That's why people recognize him as that high priest, even from birth. So, you know what I mean? So you have a worldly view toward the theology. And you have the Melchizedek part, you know what I mean? Where when we come to Jerusalem schoolroom, we start to know ourselves. Where we even look at one of the and say, God. And it's the Baba Shanti first come up with that amongst our one another, not looking out of our one another. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. That's a few words.
My Lord.
Priest Barry, Priest Barry, you
Honorable
ready?
God. Yes, my lord. So the word secular. At its core, secular means anything that is not bound by religious or spiritual rules, connections, or identities. It refers to the worldly, civil, or temporal aspect of life rather than the sacred. The word comes from the Latin seculum, which originally referred to a generation of an age, essentially meaning belonging to this worldly time rather than the eternal realm of religion.
My
My
Lord.
Lord.
Blessed
And I
Lord.
just want, this is through live streaming, we want to bring all the information as best as we can, as clear as we can to everyone, you
Okay,
know.
back on live.
Theology is, yeah, 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 we're live. Theology is not a secular study. It has nothing to do with the secular world. Theology is the study of God. It's a study of spirituality. See? And theology, while everybody can use it, they use it out there, but it doesn't have two separate meanings. It's the etymology of the word you must always go to get a concept of the word. Go to the etymology of the word. What does the word mean when it was created? What was it? What was the expression of the word? It's a study of God. So a theological college is a college that teaches you that study to study the concept of God. See? So when you hear about theocratic, theocratic order, it means an order based on a divine precepts, a divine concepts, a divine icepts, a divine ideology. See? A lot of times rising up as Ras, we are caught up into the semantics and reject certain things by not getting to the intellectual part of it. See? Meaning to what the word truly means, what it represents. We reject it because there's a theological seminary that the Catholics have, or the Muslims have, or the Buddhists have, or the Theo, whatever them call themselves has. See? But they don't have a copyright on the concept of the word. The concept of the word is what we are using the word for. Theology. Should theology be a part of the priestly studies? Meaning, should we have a direct curriculum that teaches you how to view God, how to understand the concepts of God in its entirety, not just the culture of God, which is what Rastafari and I have, that I and I profess. We culture on God. We have the culture of God. But the theology goes much deeper. It goes much deeper. So you get to understand now, Priest Earl used a word a while ago, or a statement a while ago, which is very important. The particle aspect of God, meaning the essence of God. That is what that means. Theology takes you into that depth of study, into the essence of what the whole concept of God is about. So that is what the question is alluding to. Family, give thanks.
My Lord.
Absolutely.
And my Lord, to the chair, not to cut you, them I say the way how secular is used in our everyday life is usually here the word is used to draw a line between the religious world and non-religious world. For example, secular music, art, or literature. Creative work that do not have a religious theme. For example, a pop song on the radio is a secular song, right? While a hymn song in the church is sacred. My Lord and Empress.
Give thanks to that, honorable. Yeah, man. But you know what I love about the emperor? The emperor identifies the secular is as important as the spiritual, because the secular covers a greater spectrum of human life, you know. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying now in a family. Listen to what I say again. The secular covers a greater spectrum of human life because
It's not true.
food, shelter, clothing, health,
That's not true. Yeah.
education, science, technology. I can
The
go on and
whole
on.
spectrum. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
true.
that's secular.
That's
So
it.
go ahead, my lord.
That's even the secular humanism, a philosophical viewpoint that focuses on human reason, ethics, and justice to guide life rather than relying on divine intervention or religious dogma.
Love you. Boy, Priest Barrett, I love that piece where you bring. I love that piece. You already say religious dogma. Seeing
One Priest Barry.
ideology,
All right, Mama
ideology,
Hoy.
ideology, and religious dogma. Those are the two things that a lot of what we do are based upon. Because, and nothing is wrong, you know. Listen to me now, you know. This is not a criticism. Nothing is wrong because we have to start at a point. A baby creep before it stand up and before it walk. It babble before it talk. So you have to start somewhere. But you're not supposed to stay in one position. You start at the ideology and the secular dogma or the worldly dogma. But, pardon me, but you grow now into your spiritual consciousness. That's a next level, you know.
True, true.
Spiritual consciousness. See, when you get to that spiritual conscious heights, it's only light minds can enlighten you, you know, because you are at the highest spectrum of light, you know, you're at that conscious spiritual level, which now encompasses the secular and all that comes under the secular. When you get to your spiritual consciousness, it
True, true.
encompasses the secular and all that is under that. See, but when you're stuck just in the ideology and the dogma, see, you're just at one phase. And that is where now the competition comes in and the arrogance and the ego and the you understand the disrespect and the profane language and the undermining and all of those negativity coming under that because you're stuck at that one level. You didn't just step through that level there and understand what that means and step to the next level now on your way to your heights of consciousness. Back to the chair, my lord.
My lord, to the chair. So to add what priest
Yes,
as upon as I say now, my lord and my lord, majesty. The misconception, a common misconception, calling a space or institution secular doesn't mean it is anti-religious or hostile to faith. It simply means religion isn't the guiding authority in that specific environment. It creates a neutral ground. In short, if theology looks at life through a lens of the divine, secular viewpoints look at life through the lens of human experience and the physical world we inhabit right now, my Lord and Empress. Bless.
reality check.
Barry, you're the on farm this morning, priest Barry. That don't mean say no the on farm morning, but you're the on farm.
Yes, sir, Priest Mario.
But the farm I plant some callaloo.
Yeah, man. Only for farm you're there, pan. The righteous farm too. Yeah, priest.
My Lord.
Perfect reality. Yeah, I black there, so perfect reality.
Yes,
So,
royalty.
yes, honorable priest.
Um,
I give you the fear laugh.
yes, because you remember, they still use this against us, even when them are coming in,
So true.
in Africa. They did use this part against I and I also, right? So even some of the time, I don't think so we are so balanced, because we should have balance, materially with the spiritually. But what they done to the enslaved people, it put a lot of thing in I and I where, cause I and I to be, grudgeful, covetous and all of these way because when you look out there and you see a man with a nice car and that should have supposed to been given unto you because that is material. When you look out there and you see a man with a nice house, that supposed to be so hard to achieve. But where the enslaved people go through, I feel like all of these things did use against us as a people, even the theology, the secular thing, and all of these things they use now against us. And sometimes when we feel like, is I and I, hold on myself? No, because every time you see the black man try, the black man come up with some consciousness, they try to, discredit him some way, like how they do with Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, and all the warriors them are in Africa. Anytime they try to stand up with them people, they try to get them assassinated. So, we still have to know, so it's still a war within the theology and within the secular when it comes on to the black man and the black woman. One perfect love.
My you see,
On his hand is up.
Blessed Lord, my Lord and Empress.
go ahead, priest.
I just want to put in a little insert here. I was sent up to the Theological College of the University up at, crossway from you there.
College command.
Yeah, so that I said me go up there now for really I find out if they have anything in there, what you call it now, criteria, if them provide whatever it is within them college concerning the order of Melchizedek. Well, my experience when I learn up there is that all of the religions presently have a theological, I would say, have paperwork set out concerning them, but there was none concerning the order of Melchizedek. So I just say what you have found out, what is going on today is very paramount important because I may be wrong, but there is no written clear
would I say chronology, or whatever the word is, even within the educational format, there is nothing, the order of Melchizedek is not yet written up within such institutions, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks.
My Lord.
Can I,
You
can I,
see,
can I, Honorable Chair? Oh, go ahead, Honorable Chair, and then after you finish, I'd love touch that sound where the Honorable Priest just said.
yeah. You see, them take basic human necessities and set up a systematic system against we that it hard to achieve. Food, clothing, and shelter. Everyone need that. Every man will have like to have a nice house, you know, clothes and shelter. And if my house will come right now down to a car. But then take the basic things and hold it so high above your head that it would have come like, a big thing now. Wow, me get a house and yeah man, me get a car. And when you really look into it, it's basic human needs. But then set up a systematic system to make it hard for we to get certain things. So then now we kind of transform that and the whole area there, so now like, yes, Babylon, because of the Babylon system. But them using basic human rights to fight with them while they make it easier for other people to get it. So that way everything from them times they coming even down to now, which part where we see barriers are but still, you know, you know. So like generational wealth, we don't see it amongst us because of them systematic systems where them set up against we. But as we see, the table is turning, a simple thing we can look at an example at. Look at with children and with children. Here any kind of name what I used to hear a long time, like Neil and Earl and the Earthy, Harry and you hear with children them naming some different names, some African names, some of them even creating for them own name. So the table just turning, my lad. You just have to just have a enjoy now. Selassie, yeah, Rastafari, my lad. Yes,
Yes,
please.
yes, Honorable. The Priest Earl is right. Just like what you just endorsed what Priest Earl said. They have used a lot of things against us,
Yeah.
seeing to stem our development. Seeing, but in the reason why they don't have a curriculum on Melchizedek out there is because they are basing their thing still on the Aaronic priesthood. The Melchizedek priesthood is such a high order. Seeing it encompasses such a high level of science. Seeing, and remember now, a lot of the things that they came into Africa. All right, let me just be straightforward. Voodoo, necromancy. Them scared of them things there. African spirit, what them call sacred science. What our African ancestors call sacred science. They did away with that. They taught us out of that. Them tell us that them think they're barbaric, them think they're hedonistic, them think they're pagan and Micaiah and I now reject it because that is what makes up the Melchizedek priesthood order. Why you think them used to call King Emmanuel a science man? That is what Dada was known as before he became the shepherd. He was known as a science man. One of the first organizations that Dada had was a theocratic temple. Enough ones don't know that because we don't go back too deep into the research. We just accept Dada as the Black Christ and we stop there. But if you do your research, one of the first order before the African National Congress that became the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress was a theocratic temple. And there, so the science was prevalent. This is where one of the elder Jabones tell me say, which priest Adigan know who I'm talking about. Tell him man, so the first time when he got his papers to leave to England to go start the Rastafari movement in England, he said he delayed his departure because he had never met King Emmanuel yet, Prince Emmanuel at the time, never met the prince yet. And he wanted to meet him before him tried out. So him hear of an event that the prince was hosting and decided to stay. Like he was supposed to leave the Monday, he never leave till 2-3 weeks later because he wanted to stay and attend that event. And he said when he went to that event, it was a glass breaking ceremony that the father held. We don't come know nothing about that. We don't come hear nothing about that. That wasn't, you understand, in our teaching and development, but it existed back then when the father was stepping earth and had to do certain things that he needed to do, and he had to perform certain science that he needed to perform to keep the element of evil off of him, or to cut and clear the pathway. See, that is what the Melchizedek order is based on. See, so the more we study, the more we get into our own liberty, is the more we're going to see how much depth we have. And all light is in us, you know. It's not when we get there, as we climb Jacob's ladder, the higher we get, we're going to realize that it's not really new, you know. There are some moments of deja vu. You're going to feel like you didn't know this before, you didn't do this before, because we did. Like the honorable priest Earl said, it's something where them use against we, where them take from where and come back, come use against we. See? So we give thanks to the Melchizedek order. You're not going to find it in the theological seminaries around the world because they cannot bottle up that the science there and use it. That science they have melanin in it. And if you don't have melanin within you and a strong component of melanin, you can't work that science. Blessed love for me.
So then the consensus is that yes, theological studies should be in with we should go through that.
Yes, my lord. That's the consensus. Well, that's if everyone agrees so far. I don't hear no one object. So yes, that would be the consensus.
To the chair.
Oh, here comes the elder statesman here. Yes, my lord.
Yes,
Honorable chair.
my lord.
Oh, blessed love, royal family. Blessed love to one and all, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks to life this moment. Give thanks to this wonderful reasoning. Sharing our little piece of the understanding of life with each other, you know? To give thanks. I hear Priest Rasavana speak of a breaking ceremony, and it reviving me a reasoning I get from Honorable Prophet Shut. And Prophet Shut was telling me about a ceremony that Dada did have. I don't know what it was related to, but it was like, oh, would I say death to the wicked? It was a ceremony that them use cups, the teacups that we use, brand new cups that them drank something out of the cup, and the father gave a blessing, and when time them done, the cup them was broken, yeah, in the fire, you know. So the destruction of whatever he was aiming at. And I quite agree with how Dada was seen by the members of the church. Remember the what we call the Pokomina church or the revival church was sort of a blend of African spirituality with Western Christianity, overlapping. So Dada was seen as a very powerful man within the tradition in Jamaica. When him speak, a lot of ones listen, you know? And so it is the respect for the Melchizedek, as we hear talking about Melchizedek. Christ was named after the order of Melchizedek, was christened, not even christened, what is the word? Characterized as a priest of the order of Melchizedek. Yet him grew up in the Aaronic priesthood. But the denial of the Aaronic priesthood was for a higher levity and a higher priesthood that was before them. I keep repeating that when Abraham met Melchizedek, I read in a book that Melchizedek was preparing for the Sabbath. At that point, Abraham don't know nothing about Sabbath. This is where he was going to learn about Sabbath. And I've listened to an African priest. I can't remember the name of the tribe, you know. It's the same tribe that the Ashanti king says when Ghana was talking about invading or fighting against Abraham Traore. The Ashanti king says no such thing can be done because they are all of that same tribe. The whole of them is a family. And the priest of that tribe, I can't remember the name now. That's what me give me that problem there still. But the priest says Melchizedek was of that tribe and was the king of Salem who created that which is now called Jerusalem, the city, because he was the king and the high priest at that time. And the whole concept of a king priest that we see in Haile Selassie I come down through the Solomonic order and stuff was derived or had its beginning in Melchizedek, who was way before Abraham I go have Isaac, Isaac I have Jacob, Jacob I go have Levi and created the Aaronic priesthood. So that is way later, you know? So of course it is a higher order. Of course it is an older order. And it in line with the priests them in Egypt also. You see it? So our priesthood order far outdate all of these what is now present, say them claiming to be the order of the world and spirituality, you know? Yeah. And so with this secular reasoning, I'm listening to a man named Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is not a religious person, but using science to validate all the spiritual teaching that King Emmanuel been teaching us with the heart and brain cohesion and the place where the memory of God dwell in the heart, not in the brain. So they have used secular reasoning to fight against spiritual reasoning to bring a separation to God's truth. But the truth encompasses all aspects of it, both science, spiritual, physical, all form. And that's why my answer to the question from the Empress, or the Empress did read the question, is yes, our priesthood should involve in the study of theology, because a mirror broken into different pieces can only be seen as a whole when it come back together. And our brothers in India and the East over there have aspects of our truth that have its origin in Africa, but has been scattered abroad. So studying just from the Hebrew, Judo-Christian part of it and not the other aspects, leave you short and unbalanced. So it is right and wise to, as a priest, we study all these other religions, belief system and stuff to see the truth that is within us that been shared with these other people and then beat out our way down in our West. Yeah. My Lord and Empress, blessed love, give thanks.
Majesty bless Honorable Kessingram. Glorified.
Rastafari.
Yeah. So we can move on to the next question.
Yes, my Lord.
Honorable Empress.
Next question is, if a priest is known to be an abusive person, should he be allowed to minister? Repeating. If a priest is known to be an abusive person, should he be allowed to minister? My Lord and Empress.
Well, in the beginning, we did read the 6 abomination 7 that Jah don't like. And that would I show you say an abusive person have a place in the kingdom. So him could minister to a one. But you know what I mean? And then again, no, in the same token, who will determine he abusive? He must have some complaints against him then if he gonna be termed abusive. So floor is open, my Lord and Empress.
Can I jump in quickly there before I let go the floor, my Lord? Just a quick short interjection.
Go ahead, Praise.
Yes. And there don't have to be a complaint. Because
Okay.
like we said, we are training, we are in training, we are at the Axum University or the Jerusalem schoolroom, whatever name we want to apply to the college. And you're seeing your brother.
Okay.
We know one another. Yeah, we know one another. And we see that our brethren is always verbal. It don't have to be physical, abuse is in many forms. Priest Sevens established that some time ago on one of these programs. Abuse comes in many forms. So we are observing one another. We get to know each other. That's why the man said, try the heart. And when we try the hearts of one another, we realize that we have brethren among us that are constantly verbally abusive, putting down, whether it's the empresses or in just people in general or however. See, now I'm broadening the question so ones and ones can think. Should that person, all right, what Empress Akim alluded to in one of her statements, I will ask the question from her question. Does that person have the characteristics, the mannerism, the etiquette of a priest? Is that the character of a priest? Is that the character that we see? Haile Selassie the first, the divine king priest, seeing, or Melchizedek, the black Christ, the high priest, display? Is that the kind of characteristics that we see coming from those ensamples? My Lord.
Floor is open, my Lord and Empress. That is not a rocket science. What the rest of priests them think, honorable priests and priests. And we are faced with attack.
May come. But one to them who bring it. No abuse, no forget, no minister around here. That a negative energy I come to the people then.
Rastafari.
Understand? Straight, me not petticoat it or pet and powder, nothing around here. No abuse is spirit in God's word.
Rastafari.
Well, you hear the royal historian just made this statement. What the rest of the ones them say.
To the
I
chair.
know one fights that.
Well, the
You're the man that
question, this is the
established the
question.
boundaries. You're the priest that established the boundaries of abuse is asking for the floor.
Yes, my Lord and Empress. Seeing
Yes,
that
pray.
it has many forms of abuse and also different levels of abuse. According to the abuse and according to the reconciliation after the abuse, I would say that will determine if the priest can minister.
True.
Because we have a principle where if you fall out with a one before the Sabbath, you'd have to make it right
Yeah.
in order to minister, you know? But there's some abuse that cannot be overlooked, you know?
True.
It is so degrading that I don't much want to say it right now, the type of abuse, you know?
Yeah,
True.
So it
you
depends on
know,
the level and the case, you know? My Lord and
My
Empress.
But still, we
my
want to
lord,
have a zero tolerance for abuse, you know.
my lord, but when we
And
are talking about youth, remember, you know, history happened, you know, it happened in recent time, oh man left off of the altar and go beat up man in a congregation, you know, and all of these things, you know, my lord. So, you know, cause them carry abusing spirit that them ministering and them forget where them is and come out and go abuse someone in the congregation. You see, so
My
you see,
Lord.
some people when they carry abusing spirit, them not some of them not have no decorum, them not no behavior, you know.
This is why we say a priest must be able to foretell these characteristics in our one and address it before them even get priesthood.
And
You
that's
know?
why I broadened the scope of the reasoning a while ago with the showing that there are many abuses or many types of abuse. And that's
Yeah.
why if you listen to the question, an abusive that priest carries an abusive nature. Not just he did something that was abusive at one time. Because that can happen.
Abusive person.
Right, that can happen. A man can do a thing at one time, and so because we are human, see. But the person carries an abusive nature.
Yeah.
That means him tend to quickly fly off the angle and tell people unholy for things, even if he's not using guile. Even if he's not using guile, but he's using abusive words, derogatory statements, derogatory names. Like how one would have said Eliza whatever. You know the statement, because we have live stream.
Yeah.
One would have used them kind of word if we talk about the queen and certain little things. I never hear Melchizedek use them word then. When him writing her and dealing with her, him said, "Your honorable queen, madam," blah, 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 or some title that I wouldn't give her. Because I am not as gracious as the father. See? So I wouldn't even give her them title there. But the father does. And he's the Melchizedek that we are patterning. So that is why I and I bring this question, because we are getting very loose in how we address one another, especially, precisely, they always talk about this, especially when there is something wrong. You can't be good just when things is good. You have to be good all through. So when something goes bad, that's when you need to be very good. You're not supposed to revert to bad because something bad happened. You need to rise above it and be very good. So you don't get dirty with the dirt. You get
Okay.
clean with the dirt. My Lord.
My Lord. I think that question answers itself after all this reasoning. I think
Yes,
we need to
Honorable
move.
Christian.
Honorable Priester, my Lord, give thanks for your input.
As the priest say, abuse can come in many different levels, whether you abuse children, you understand, because we have to be real, right? Yes, because if the empress or the kingman, right, and then say, I'm going to make a little move on the road, you suppose can't leave the children them with your man. You know what I mean? And when you come out, everything is good. You see? So a priest have to have good priest character. and the abusive dogma way is not really a priest character. You see, because yes, we know say Christ wrinkle and monks Melchizedek at that time, even the man that we have ministered to him can approach him. Because at that moment, fire burn. This way me I say, yes, but that is not abuse. Sometimes I'll someone make Melchizedek a bonfire because I remember a real man, you know. If we are here real some of the time, you know, the individual them around him have to keep it until him call for a personal individual. You know what I mean? But the priest, them man, you have to carry priest character, man. Where I want suppose you can say priest, you know, you have to make a move on the road, look after the children, yeah? And when the priest come forward, you know, if you not share some food, you know, go feed your own, you know, or you feed the black one them, and then the white one them no as children, you know, them white now, you know, you don't give them like home, or you don't minister to them like way that feed the black one because love don't care color, you know what I mean? So
Natural.
Abuse can come in many different ways, and priest supposed to have a good character, you know what I mean? Because just like how even we are go a bull bay and some people are walk and we are walk though. And one of the empresses that say, yeah man, I go about them and we are walk with them and because them feel confident, say, but not why reach around at the dark and around this so and try to abuse them. They feel confident to say yes above. So we go walk because they can't get no vehicle. But them feel so good because them don't say the bubble for the whole whether prophet or priest. Because even the prophet supposed to carry a priestly character also. That's why the item speak about that gentle giant. You see, because he have a priestly he have a priestly character also as a prophet. You know what I mean? Yes, you know. So abuse can come in many different ways. But when you do any abusing, you can't go up on the altar because the empress them go burn you and say no, just do that or see gone up there. Because they start murmur amongst themselves, although you're not here, you know, what them are saying. But them say you just don't do that and see there. And you know what I mean, them attack. If you ask them right now, you know, them burn fire upon certain individual, you know. Also, you know, they maybe not make the sound go out, you know, but amongst themselves in a congregation, they must say, "You just do that and see them go for altar, one perfect love."
Yes, right. Why not? Like that statement the way you make though, honorable priest, sir. Jah no know no color. When Jah deal with justice, justice has no color. Rastafari. Next question.
Blessed love. Next
Yes,
question. Can an individual priest ordain a new priest to the order? Repeated. Can an individual priest ordain a new priest to the order?
What number question that is, Empress?
Number 6.
All right. Floor is open. That is a simple question too. As priest and priest. Floor is open, my lord. Priest Earl.
My Lord and Empress.
Honorable Priest Adigan. My Lord.
You have to have witnesses. It's the same like when a man get even crown. You have to have another priest to read the Psalms and all of these things. So no, it couldn't be an individual thing. After we now run pastor and reverend ministry like out of Babylon where one man do everything. No, and also everything set up. So you know our thing we always have a witness, you understand? So if I'm like two leading priests, if you make an acting priest, a leading priest, examples like that, you know, and
get on for your words.
You know?
Any
Yeah.
other what the item think of that? Well, as a man,
Right.
go ahead, priest.
Yes, when it come on to priest Rocco, also, where we did come see. Jah did put priest Rocco, if him see a man, worthy. You see, because some of the time a man that feel like say, Jah never set him congregation that if priest Rocco, priest Brown, one of these priests, let's see that one of these prophets are worthy. Even the high honorable chair, can't remember when you just come, that you
Yeah.
never feel like even ready for the office. Or you did just come, you never settle yet, and you know what I mean? Priest Rocco,
Yeah.
could I even say what him say and him never enough to go to the father, as an
Right.
individual priest also, right? But he was in that authority, you know what I mean? Say, as a man where travel, right? Coming to look at priest, carry over with you. You know what I mean? It is right to anoint you as a priest, although, you hold on a couple hours in the camp. And that wasn't just the eye to reach. Because, say, priest Isaiah Kelly also, they never go through what I and I go through, you know, as a man where do 7 years before me get my priest. As them come
Yeah.
through the gate, you know what I mean? Yeah, anoint them priest. And, you can't even forgot say, oh, me do 7 years before me get my priest, and as the man they come. So
Yeah.
sometimes it go that way too. A man just come through the gate and an individual priest. Some of the time it feel like our friend thing too, because me see man come Friday and sap at him a minister. And myself, me I say, look how long me there. And, this individual now you can't say he not really nothing yet
Side.
because him never
Side.
go he never go a devotion. And to I, it look like, when a bird, a teach a young bird how to fly, sometimes him not really a fly good. Him, you know what I mean? So we could have see that. Say this young man would just come. Him not get it good. You know what I mean? He may be able to say bless the Lord and can't even say, you know, many words neither. So really and truly, we see that go through an individual priest. Do that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, the authority to do that, amongst Melchizedek. So just like how when Jack did transcend now, it leap high and high where man that say, the priesthood had a stop. We just stop it. You know what I mean? The last set a man where did get priest at that moment. But I said no, it couldn't stop there. So
Can't
because
stop Java.
you go still need a young one them. So I and I
Yeah.
take it up amongst myself now. So it still did cast back a little thing amongst I and I self. Make the younger man them come straight away pan the back of field. And if you check enough of the man them where that struggle the thing right now, them now the priesthood as priests now, because some of them they are Trinidad and them now see that even the Sabbath got through at the moment. So we know say, as Honorable Priest Harrigan say, I'm more than one man, but sometimes the unity are not there where me fi go call another virgin for do all away in a oneness. Sometimes a leading priest I will just say, all right, this is the Honorable Priest Richie, and me love him a perform at the devotion. He maybe not there too long, but you look the character of the prophet them where have that priesthood, characteristic. Because sometimes as a man coming up, you can see say, is a priest come, but him come now as a prophet still. But you can see that priesthood way in him and although him just come. Because, you know what I mean? Yes. And that's why I say much.
Really
Yeah.
patat, priest, sir. Really patat, my brother.
To the
Yeah.
chair.
Oh, frisky.
Yes, sir.
I was just, this is personal now. This is just a personal statement from I personally.
To the question.
And
To the question.
yes, my lord. You know me. I'm
Before
not
you
coming.
say anything,
I'm not
read the question one more time.
because I now come after the question. You don't know.
All right. Read the question one more time, Empress.
Can an individual priest ordain a new priest to the order?
Okay. Go ahead, priest. Priest Rasavana.
Family is an order. Is an order. And I'm going to reiterate what we stated or what was stated at the beginning of this program. The Father started it at good. It's supposed to get better and it's supposed to not end up, but it's supposed to head towards best. See? Because that's how we come learning. Good, better, best, and then 3 times y'all give me another one. So there is even a fourth elevation now. See? All right. If it's an order, the priest is in training. Him couldn't, if him amongst one man in a one wilderness, is one thing, you know, him there in the African jungle, in the Congo, where it's only him and the one priest, and the priest see a character in him and him there for years and him training. Yeah, we're not talking about that, you know. That is martial arts, where you get a sensei and you train under the sensei and you become whatever. See, we're talking about an order now. And that is why a lot of what is happening and what has happened among I and I. See, the anointing, because the priest supposed to get anointed. The anointing of a priest supposed to be done by the order. The order is 7 man at least, not one. The order, we must remember the order, you know. The order is 7 man at least. Now, I heard what Priest Earl saying, and I accept what Priest Earl said, because those are what? Those are unusual circumstances. Those are circumstances that are not supposed to be the norm. See? But when you have a monastery, you have a church, you have a tabernacle, and the order is 7 priests fulfilling the roles within the spiritual order, then the anointing of a new priest come through the order. Every other fraternity out there that deal with a priestly role has that order. So we have to look at these things. We have to reassess these things, you know. And this is why a man take it upon himself to just give him bridging priest, or a man can call a man on the phone and say, my lord, they are a priest, you know. No. If the 7 man supposed to sit down, call a vibe amongst themselves, and the senior most priest call the thing to order and say, Royal Angels, we are looking to anoint some new priests to the fraternity. Who do you see as ones that are ready for that role? And each man now we give a nomination to say, well, why you ask Mr. Priest Rasavana, but I'm not ready, you know. The man, no, I'm not ready. You know, or a man bring up Priest Rasavana and say, no man, that man is not ready because I'm not coming enough Psalms reading and I'm not elocuting thing properly or whatever. But the next man will say, Priest James and say, yeah man, I love how the Virgin they carry a nice priestly character. Him humbling himself, him eloquent, him is a good counselor, him is a good listener, you know, him is a patient man. Yeah man, him fulfill the role, and the 7 priests them will full just it and say, yes, my lord, I think the man there, yeah, put him on the list there. And you go down, another man nominated and him say, oh, Priest Oswald, yeah man, great philosopher man, the man they have enough information. I'm like how he minister the information, you know, within reasoning and reasoning. So I think he would have do good on the altar to share information with the congregation and thing. It's an order, my lord, and I'm not going to overemphasize it, but it's an
Yes.
order. So for me personally, it takes the order to ordain a priest. Bless the Lord.
My Lord, bless her. Well, and he said me was looking at it because Iron Priest Staffer was up North America. So we had a congregation between Philadelphia and New York and Connecticut, Baltimore. So we ordained couple priests well, called priest Manfrey, him brother, and enough other man in Philly as we speak, priest Evans, bonafide priest, but we had a congregation because for to anoint a priest, it will have to have a service order I go through. It's different with a prophet if you are a man and move through, And a man, a prophet him can put on a man can put on him turban. I don't find that. But as a
Yes,
priest,
my lord.
you will have to have a service order I go through. We had to say the 7 man sit down. Priest Danny was in the midst there. We all go sit down and say, well, all right, we see priest Merle I could priest Evan. You know that way, say, my Lord Empress. So I saw you say,
Same thing in Miami, my lord. When the Honorable Priest Knuckles headed up the church in Miami, I and I was supporting Cass. When Bridging was through, when we needed strength and we saw ones ready and willing, that is how they were inducted into the order. And we had, when you inducted, when I was getting my leading priest, I had to go to different ceremonies and I had to prove myself ready. You understand? And it's the same with the bridging them we used to have Psalms reading and thing and I would have to drive from way uptown where I'm on there, saying go down to the Psalms reading to make sure so the younger priests them get to go through the order each week. You understand? Until we saw that they were ready. And then now the honorable priest among I and I now would say, and induct the bridging them into the order. So it's a natural.
to get
For the
free, so you
chair, for the chair.
Yes, Honorable Empress Maisie.
Yeah, I just want to strengthen this because naturally at on the camp, yeah, that's what the father would do the office man them, they would watch the brethren them who are attentive to the service, about every time Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, will call and so on, and how they carry themselves within the courts, and they'll support the broom field, and so on and so on. So the brethren will be watching these honorables, brethren who are in training, and then the father will say to them, it's time now. Who do you see, to fulfill that office as a priest? The brethren will sit with the father and say, well, I see Priest Rasavana because he might have been, diligent at the service, roll call, etc., etc. And I see him active within the courts, him at the broom field, I'm helping around, in the kitchen, but him helping around hood and everything. So they watch every little thing that you do, and then said, I see him fit, for the priests. And so then they will call the brethren, the father will tell them to call up the brethren, them who they see, talk and ask them, can you go on 9th man, so, and, have a conversation with him to say, if he's ready, within himself to take up the role as a priest or him need more time. But some man would have happy, some man decline. 1 or 2 man would decline, say not ready yet. He need to build himself more, and that's a fact. But imagine them, some of the brethren happy, yes, my Lord, I'm ready, etc., etc. So that's how the father would do it, and getting priest them in order. But no, I see the camps, I see the brethren still do it, I mean, and when I'm on 9 priests, 7 priests, and, they read a certain prophecy and psalms and sing a hymn and so on and so on. So that not really out of it, it might not be, how it used to be in fullness, but they still, when I was there, carry on that fulfillment of anointing a priest, and so on and so on, my Lord. Give
That,
thanks. I'm the strength.
yes, that question really is for outer road to how many
Yes, my lord, you're right.
far out and then,
Through the
Yeah.
care.
And
And
how
I
the
have a
priest was,
priest.
we must
Blessed,
Oh,
come
you
my
back.
lord.
said, well, and priest, you said the question was for the ones them outer road and not in the
Yeah,
camp?
really. Yeah,
No,
when you really
we're just saying it kind of cover that, Mama. We don't not specifically, but it kind of more for outer road because that's what's been going on outer road, really.
Okay, all right. Okay, no problem.
blessed. And I have a priest, Barry.
No, that is priest Knuckles was calling for the floor, the honorable elder.
And I have a priest Knuckles, my Lord, Kessingham.
Honorable God, me there say me, man.
All right.
Blessed love, my Lord. Give
Your
thanks.
Majesty.
In relation to the question, an elder leading priest have such authority to bless a man within the field of an acting priest, carry him on the line for him to start him training to become a priest. All by himself. Him have that authority. However, as the priest rightfully say, since we are building and it's an order, because according to the circumstance, if you're alone, you are the only priest within that area, is a new uprising of a congregation, and you alone ministering, and a one, you see him move towards the order, the salvation order with an energy and a strength. You can induce him into the priesthood. You can induct him into the priesthood.
Right.
My Lord.
That is a pioneer point of view you talk, my Lord.
Yes, and because the church is expanding, you're going to find
Yes,
more
yes,
and more of that you have
yes.
those circumstances.
Yes, yes.
However, as the priest say, having established an order, and you have a congregation and you have other priests there, as
Side.
in detail how we do it in Miami. One might see a brethren and say him think that him fitting in terms of the character that he shows and how we move towards the salvation order. That is important, because it's that man identify when time we upon the hill, How a man move toward the salvation order. Because if it's in your nature, then you cleave closer to the salvation order than any of the other aspects of the government. You see it? And so you would sit down with the rest of priests them and say, say I man thinks that the man, show likely priesthood characteristics and stuff like that. And because it is true, the next priest them going to say, I'm naturally no, my lord. I man see that too.
Yeah,
And it become a consensus. You see it? And so you have the ceremony to make
yeah.
him like that. But if it's only one individual priest or two priests, if there is two priests, the two priests should have agree on that. One man couldn't say, I gonna make that man a priest, and the next man say, me not see that and him still gonna make him a priest. That would not be the way how
Natural.
the thing's supposed to be, In natural order, from a man a manifest certain way. All of we can see it. You see it?
True,
Even though each man will have a private way that you might not know at that point. But the
true.
public view that him represent, all of we can see it. So from the leading pieces, like when time Priest Morgan and him fleshy come a camp the first time. From my man see the man at the gate, I man said, that man they a priest, my lord. And within a short time, that acknowledge that I make him a priest. You see it? Because you can feel the energy of a one, how them a
Yes,
move.
Jack.
So yes, it should be something that the rest of priests them quite agree to, see it, and make it so. I have been in a situation where I call up certain man to the priesthood and I leave out one or two man because I have a question in issues of how they deal with things. And Priest Eugene say, hey, my lad, oh, the other man there and the man there. I say, all right, my lad, if you see it is okay. You don't see it, but for myself, I won't push him on my own accord because I don't
All
spend
right.
as much time with him as the next priest. You understand? So once you can agree, say, yeah, man, then it should be a thing of the order of the priest, you know? My Lord and Majesty, blessed.
Yeah. And like that great understanding, so that show and no partiality. I did nominate him for whatever reason, but you never fight him when you see our next one nominated him. My
Yes,
Lord.
man. Yes.
Them kind of character we
That's
are
why the
depending on.
order. Yeah, and that's why it's an order. That's why it take the, that's why the man say a 7 man in draft for to represent him. You
Yes,
understand?
sir.
So it's a reason behind it. Our father never make no mistake, know exactly what
That's
he was
right.
designing when he
That's right.
designed the thing. Moving
Ah,
along because
number
what question
7.
I think we just
Number 7.
number 7. Okay, we can touch it. We can touch it now, cause at the end of all of them now, we're gonna be able to touch on everything. So we can
Yeah,
just touch
man.
it and quickly move through them and get the 10 out of the way.
Yes, Empress.
Royal Empress.
Okay, yes, real quick. I just wanted to expound a bit on what has been said, trying to tie everything together because I give thanks that we're having this discussion because this is what will solidify the church. What Priest Barry mentioned earlier in defining what secular meant, this is an aspect too that can be brought in into the process of bringing one up to a priest. The secular aspect of how businesses run as well, an interview process, not just the priest saying, hey, I identify these characteristics, but also interviewing the priest, the prophet, to become a priest. To then you get to question different aspects of one's meditation. I want us to think about everything that we've talked about, how all of this plays in together. So we have the educational piece, creating the curriculum. How would that, and I will share later, but I in our process of discussion, I looked up several platforms that will help put a class together online, and ones could also have it on their mobile, so discussions can happen and things of that nature. But think of that aspect, and then now we talk about the process of elevating that priest to move on to the next level. One's, the order of things as far as the priest, how many will it be? Total of 7? Would it be 3? Or personally, I think it should be a total of 7, right? But a panel of priests that will also interview, again, bringing that secular piece in, which doesn't take away from the church, but doing things in order. And then in that process, you also get to see where that one is in their meditation. You can bring in those questions of, how do you feel about domestic violence? How do you feel about mental illness? How will you address this, that, and the other? All those things can come together to also see where that prophet is in his meditation, and is he ready to, propel to the next level. And so I just wanted to, tie everything in together. If ones haven't done that yet in their meditation, everything that we've talked about is coming full circle to create what needs to be done, for things to be done in proper, in decency and order. I just wanted to lift that up. Bless it.
Give thanks, Empress.
Through the
Give
chair, my
thanks.
Lord.
And I have a
Through the
priest
chair.
now first.
Yes. And I don't want to linger on this point, but I love that Empress meditation. I recently engaged with our Empress, who our King Man was made a priest by I and I in Miami. And them having problems now. At least they were having problems at the time she spoke to me. And she accused me of doing like what the Empress is saying is like beyond just seeing the characteristics or the affinity towards the salvation order. That we have by now come to this level that we are experiencing, even though the man had good characteristics and stuff like that, some man have mental issues. And they need to be vetted. So question like an interview like she's saying is naturally true she's talking. Need to be put on the table now. From beginning, because the Empress is saying we have allowed some dishonest man to be inducted into the priesthood. And because we never challenge the honesty or ask of these things prior, then it come down the line later, come disrupt the relationship, you know? And we felt a way because it is true. You can't tell, as I mentioned earlier, all have a dark side that needs to be clarified and illuminated. And you're praying that a one through the ministering and the other cleanse up that dark spot within them life. But it is upon us now, having experience with child molestation and all them things, by priests, that we ask these issues and ask these questions prior to giving them that free paper into the priesthood. I don't think that is something wrong either. It's just the way we are evolved now. That you should have an interview and have a set of questions that we need to develop now to ask. What is your view on this? What is your view on that? And how would you angle this and that? To see where the person's head is even from a secular point of view of life before you induce them into the priesthood. My Lord and Majesty, blessed.
Blessed love, my Lord. And going forward with setting such a criteria for, as we say, the what it takes and what it needs, an interview will just be natural. That with a natural coming hand in hand. You read the criteria and you see if this is what you're capable of doing, or this is what you desire. And naturally I get an interview. So because as we say, we documenting everything. So this is how them procedure will I go through hand in hand, my Lord and Empress. Give thanks. Moving forward.
Blessed love. Next
Blessed
question.
love,
Before you read the next question and thing, or was it a statement that I want to make, Empress?
Question.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to read the question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you see, all of this that we're talking about is for the new millennium tradition. Because when we are living in a camp environment, you get to test the art of your bridging on a more deeper and closer level. Keener observation and all of these things. How I one move and how I one deal. You hear the ones reasoning when reasoning going on. You hear whether them have a kind of vulgar way or a profane kind of way. You get a deeper connection with your brethren in a camp setting. That's why the monastery setting is really very fitting to a priesthood more than the way the modern world has come shape and I today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get to know your brethren on a level, and you see, chatting with him, you see how him deal towards woman, how him reason with woman when you're moving through. What time we used to sell broom. All of us will come to camp used to sell broom. So you see a brethren when him a move to and him see all a nice queen when him like, you see how him deal, what him say, after him done talk to her, you hear what him say to you. Them way there. So you get to try your brethren heart and him ways on a closer level. Now, not saying that things won't happen in the future and that, because, humanity is imperfect. But you get that general connection. Because even, and sorry, Empress Akim, I'm not negating your process is great and I would endorse it. But even in a question and answer segment, that don't mean say you're going to get the full nature of the one, you know. Because ones can be very prepared for that. You know what I mean? Know that well, this is a part of the order where we're gonna be questioned and they prepare like you're preparing a test. You're studying in college and you're preparing for a test. See, ones can be very prepared and know what to say, politically correct answers, what them call it. See, how to state and answer certain questions so you can slide through the process. But the greatest connection is what our father said, man. Try the heart. When you able to connect with your brethren from a heart to heart and try the heart, are the closest you will come to understanding the hidden aspects of one another. Blessed love. Royal Empress, they are free.
Blessed love. Lift downs. Is education an important aspect of the priest's office? Repeating. Is education an important aspect of the priest's office? Lord and Empress.
To the chair.
My Lord.
Yes, Empress. Education is important to the priest office because education plays a big role in everyone and every man's life, you know. Because you don't want to be a priest and you're up there and because you can't read that Psalms, you know what I mean? So as you can read and write, that's the basic fundamental of education, you know. Maths is a natural thing, but read and write at least that you're supposed to can do as a man, you know, as a human being, yeah. So education play an important role in everyone and everybody life, you know. And every office as a matter of fact. Not just the police office, but education is a must, I would say. I don't know how the rest of the house look on it, but I think education is a very important role for us to have as humans, especially as priests, even as priests and prophets, the Empress same way. You know what I mean? My Lord and Empress.
And
My
I would
Lord.
just add one thing to what you just said. Reading comprehension. Reading comprehension. Because you can read, like many priests can read, but after the book read, you hear them get up. All they do is verbatim. Quote back the book as the book is read. You see, when you read a book and you're ministering to the congregation, you're supposed to interpret the book from your own level, you know, using your own expression and words, you know. Not verbatim, not quoting back the book exactly as it was read. See, what you're doing now is explaining to the congregation the message. Sometimes multiple messages within the same book. And each priest can get up and the priest had done explain this aspect already. So you know what I'm going to explain that as this aspect of it. So reading comprehension is very important to I and I in the priest office, my lord.
To the chair.
Majesty blessed.
Yeah, I just want to say too, over the many years of their service, I'm here the priest and I read still. But to see, many times I have to laugh and the sisters them have to laugh within themselves because what the priest them read, their interpretation or their quotation is so far different. It's not like nothing they have read within the book. They're supposed to read the book and can give an explanation, right? About
Yes,
what they read, right? So we in the congregation can understand. But sometimes them direction, boy, I meet a man out a road, and that's what the man has said to me, and he meet John all over the place, and nothing like what the book is telling you. But you have some priests, when they culture what they read, you get the fulfillment. And you said, we used to say, give thanks, priest, because it resonates, yeah, in our heart, because he's just telling us what the book said in his own way. And it is not far. It is right there. So, my lord, education, of course, is the key. But when we came to the foundation, hey, told them downgrade the education thing and put all kind of saying to the education. It's like it wasn't important. You understand education and slavery and all kind of thing. And that's why my first set of children, them never go to the basic or the primary until they become big. I have to push them out. So education is vital. And next, when we learned that our father, King Selassie, was a minister of education back into his country. And those are the things that, I said, yes, that is what I take the bull by the horn. I said, if my father can be the minister of education, so what me I do with my children then? Education is vital. You understand? Education is important. If you don't have an education, you cannot run a government. Any man who can read and write can go sit down in an office. Then how am I go write? How am I go spell? How am I go make a sentence? How am I go write a proper letter? To send out to the government, for agitation and so on and so on. You got to read and write. Education is very important in this time. My Lord, blessed love, yeah?
To the chair.
My Lord.
Yeah, earlier in the question about innovation, I wanted to say that I didn't get a chance, that we need to have a structure for Bible study to understand how to really tell the interpretation from the scriptures, because we see that has caused a problem amongst us, the interpreting things literally, and we need to understand the symbolism in the Bible. So when I say Bible study, not just to say read the Bible, but go through some of the scriptures and try to interpret the moral lesson in the Bible. You understand me? Yeah, so when the priests them go on the altar, it is easy for them to interpret because they done studied that already. They're more familiar with it. My Lord,
Yes, Honorable P7. Same thing I just said a while ago. Reading comprehension. You have to learn how to comprehend what you read and express it and explain it. That's the role of a priest. See, knowing what is an allegory, how you use an allegory, because sometimes we use that word and people make it sound like it's something wrong you're saying, or an allegory is something negative. Not even that much we don't get, An allegory. What is an allegory? The use of an allegory. See, that's part of the comprehension. That's part of the understanding how to interpret what you're reading. See, because an allegory is a story told with a message. It has semblances of truth, but aspects of it that are not to be taken literal is what I hear the guy saying right there in your statement. So I totally agree with that, my lord.
To the chair again. My
My
Lord.
Lord. My Lord.
Rastafari. Yes, and because of that lack of education, many misinterpretation, and what we would have to classify as Balaam deriving
Yeah.
in the order.
Yeah.
Go and bring us back to this culture. Give not thy seed unto Molech. The lack of historical knowledge of what Molech is or who Molech refers to. A man put in it that a man who is mixed race is Molech. And so the culture derives, say, the black man or the black woman of a mix with one are relate to in a relationship with a one who is of mixed race. Now, if a man did a read, first of all, you need to learn to read, as the priest said, with comprehension. But not only that, we have to follow the dictate of the honorable prophet that says you should be reading at least one book a week, because the secular knowledge that going to support the spiritual awareness and something, you need to have that also. Because if I want to study history and know Molech is the idol where them did build to the bull, who me here just use the term bull, and me I say right in the in the middle of the reasoning. Yeah, that it was a practice of those people at that time to sacrifice their children unto the god, the bull god, that is called Molech. And this is where I think Abraham did get caught up with Isaac, but that's a whole other story for go on. But it is necessary for one to be able to read and use that skill of reading to expand his knowledge of understanding by reading books that other authors write, so you can learn history. As the father say, you have to do history and prophecy together. Now, if you just study, you don't know the history of Molech and them things, so you wouldn't come to an interpretation and say, you know, for make your daughter lay with a brown skinned man because he mix and them thing there. And them thing they bring corruption. And I gotta tell you, say when I come the first time I go up on the altar, and I go and call the priest name, what is that? Respectable first one of God's strongest angel them. God bless him soul and pass off still. And the Psalms that said, stand in awe and commune with God upon your own bed. Him used to say, standing are we. I mean, upon the altar, and I fall and the man say, are we? I mean, say, no, my lord, no word, no their name, are we? AWE means ah. Seeing, I make that correction, but nobody else saw that. Everyone else I go with it, and I'm pretty sure his ears, him a minister, and I say that same thing. Standing away, you know? So we are supposed to follow when you're upon the altar what is being read. And we know that someone don't read very well, so you help him in correction of the pronunciation and later in reasoning and so what that means. My lord, and it's very important, my lord, education, you know? Yeah,
Very
as a
important.
very, very important. It's a
Yeah.
crucial element in the order.
In
Now,
any development.
coming from a time when the population that you have don't have a high level of education, you still have to work with the man who have a spiritual awareness and love for the thing.
Yes,
But enough man my lord, you know that priest, enough one we teach you for read on the altar. Every
Yeah,
2 words
man.
you have to tell him what the word is. You understand?
Mm.
And it's struggling to
Yeah.
the altar and to
Yeah.
the congregation. As the Empress said. The Empress said, me sit down there well educated and hear him talk, and I say, what a foolishness him talking about. Them now gonna bring it out. But yeah. That's why sometimes you hear some of the Empress them sit down and say, them now got service when the man they minister, the man they
Yeah.
can't have
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
Seeing for them know of
Yeah.
the arrogance and
Yeah.
the ignorance that person have, and it don't bring
Yeah.
a harmony to the service, you know?
It preach.
Yeah, it is very important, my
It
lord.
preach that they get regulated. They
Yes,
get regulated.
and to be able to put the history with what you're reading in the Bible to make it one fullness, you know? My Lord and Empress, blessed.
Next question. Anyone else have any on that? Number
Yes, I
8.
have.
All right, and I have a priest.
Yes. Education is right. That's why you find that sometimes you have some prophet where him had us profit over the years because him can't manage the reading, as the honorable priest said. A priest was on the altar, right? And him leave from down at 6 and come up to I, up the leading priest. I was asking I what word this is. And I make him know, say, but you could have asked the man who you sit down side. But to him say, him feel like me and my friend now pan the field. Him don't understand, say, this is the altar. And when me dey pan the altar, I'm kind of serious, me not carry friend. So, if you don't know the word, to you go read, you know your time when you can read, right? You
So the
ask the
priest
man who you
is
sit down side, right? You know what I mean? Because a lot of individuals, as the priest say, come up on the altar, come read, learn to read. You know what I mean? So, you ask the man who you sit down side that. Don't leave no come to the leading priest and ask her. Try to send him forward down. Because at the moment, me have to well meditation per se. With the chorus me I go sing next. Or yeah, you pick up
yeah.
thing like that. So, just like what the priest say, yes, education is right. You know what I mean? But enough individual can tell you the first explorer as a white man coming to Africa. Yet him can tell you about the black man greatness. So that now still lead forward now to slavery. Because if you can tell me, you know, about the white men, you can tell me about Shakespeare, and yet you can't, regurgitate nothing of the black man glory, as I said, it end up forward now in a slavery because you don't know nothing about yourself, So you go that colonialism and that imperialism. So you're not in yourself. So when well on the right way of the education, you learn about yourself that you could have teach your children, because even sometimes you send your children to Babylon school. You have to take them up within the homework also. You know what I mean? To steer them now in that, ancient way. Because sometimes the school now still, are just the white, you know, the white way, and teach the black youth out of themselves. You see it? So as all the priests them say education is right. But if you don't know of the white explorer, you cannot speak nothing about the black man glory. I find say that lead up forward to something that is not right. One perfect love.
Whatever. My
To
Lord.
the chair.
Yes.
Since I get enough, just a few minutes, let me just make my speech a little short. Oftentimes we hear one say, and we're speaking on education, right? Which is so much important. And you often hear ones in the order may say, well, this person come with the big words, or they think they're more educated, or they come with a college degree, or whatever it may be. And those are the negative things that continue to keep the Congress and the members of the Congress stagnated. Because if we don't have education, one, how do we educate our children? How do we make certain that our youths, become the best of who they can be? Education is key to all of that. Two, education, to be educated. You can't go in front of a government office, and this is may be the reason why the Constitution, and ones are afraid to touch the Constitution so that it can elevate and begin to elevate the members themselves, because they don't want to know that someone else has a little more knowledge. We're all knowledgeable, but we're knowledgeable in different things. While the priest may know the Bible and the order, to 100% or even 99 to 100%, while other members may be just learning. We all have knowledge on different things. And I find that when ones are unable to articulate themselves, they begin to regurgitate.
because of the lack of understanding, the lack of knowledge, the lack of, seeking more knowledge than what they're accustomed to. And it could be out of fear. It could be out of dominance, one's wanting to be dominant over another one. And I find a lot of times that happens. So, it's just a great thing that this question came up, because it's very important that all members, whether in or outside of this Congress, is aware that education is what really flows. You have to be, if you go in front of a government official, how are you going to speak to that person? If you write a letter, I have seen many, many, many letters written from the Congress. Well, not many, but a lot of letters written from this Congress. And the way that it's written is like you're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Inoculate, or, bring in someone into Congress or whatever it is, instead of just saying exactly what it is that you want to say. The lack of education makes that happen. And there's some senior priests out there who they would look at even the Constitution as some theological, and they're educated people. But because they want to be in the follow, in the know, or around a certain group of ones, they continue to say these things. And, everyone is hearing it. Empresses are hearing it. The prophets are hearing it. The younger priests are hearing it. So how do we change that narrative just by what we're doing now? Yes, but then who will begin to do the work? Would it be just this elders council? Would it be, and I don't want to stop the thing because I should have said this in the ending, but would it be that you're bringing in other members? How would it be, how would it be put together? How would the whole scheme of the thing be put together so that one can understand that it's not only the prophets, it's the empresses also, it's the priests also, it's every member of this, it's the youths, the prince and princesses also, that must follow a certain tradition, a certain principle, a certain way of doing things while still trying to elevate themselves. Blessed love.
Through the chair. Through the chair. Blessed. Am I being heard? Blessed love.
Yes,
Go
priest,
ahead,
you're
man.
being heard. You're being heard.
Yeah. Yes. I think I could answer what, said the Empress, and with my statement saying, well, I want to bring to attention the fact that most of the attributes that we mentioned today that a priest should have, the majority, it can be obtained outside of the camp yard, outside of Jerusalem schoolroom, right? The education, all the doctorates and the physician and the healing and all of these attributes can be attained outside of the camp yard. We need to have a mentality that we have to accept our coexistence, right? What is outer road? Because we was outer road at that time, and we come from outer road, right? Some of us come with our skills, talents, and we bury our skill and talent to live this life, right? And that wasn't supposed to be so. We can go out a road and learn skills, talents, all kind of things to develop the Congress, right? Just because we look at outer road as Babylon, that doesn't mean that development is not there. Greater understanding of development is not there. Over the years, I observe we have a tendency to kind of bottle up our energy in a corner, and we don't really want to merge our energy with other energies out there, which can assist us, right? So we have to understand that it must come a time where we have to disperse our energy, out to different things out there in the world, where we could bring innovation with an I black world, right? But we have to accept the fact that, Jerusalem schoolroom teach us the path. It gives us the direction on how to handle things. And now that we have that direction, we should be able to go out in the world and learn trade and skills and be able to develop our skills in such a way where we can infuse it within, Black conscious understanding and to uplift Africa, you see it, and to bring development amongst itself and to Africa. But we cannot just bottle up our energy. You see it, if we understand entropy, and energy have to be dispersed at a time. It must. You cannot bottle it up and try to hold it down. It moves, it is always in motion. You see it, and I energy is a strong, strong energy. It cannot be bottled up, cannot be contained for too long. You see it? This is why ones from all over the world, King Emmanuel is the only Rastafari leader who had so many members and individuals leave from all across the globe to come to see him. You see it? You see it due to the energy that can merge with so much different understanding. You see it? So we have to think about that, my lord. Pardon me, mother. Yes.
My lord. Where's
Yes,
the
my
next
lord.
question? You don't talk, Chris?
Yeah, all right, go ahead. Yes, my lord.
I don't to say that it's you. You finished?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get a little small feedback on what I was saying, You see, if it was making sense still. Yeah, because, we do have that tendency to just, you know, keep things amongst ourselves. A kind of way, the most we do, we'll go out there and shine a light and rock a bingy, and you understand. But like to say to actually go in a university and go in a institution, you see it, and learn something and share our knowledge with them, and they share our knowledge with us. And we even invite them to the camp and that kind of interaction there, you know. I think if we operate in that kind of way, we'd have been much more further than where we are, you know. That's my thoughts, my lord.
To the chair. To the chair.
My lord.
Yes, honorable pre-sevens. Love it. Love what you say. Love what you say, my lord. Now, why I love it? There was a period of time on my journey when I teamed up with my brethren, my brethren in goodness, Ras I Jabalani Tafari, who is a multimedia specialist, the first Rastaman on television anywhere, seeing control JBC newsroom, proficient writer, editor, make words talk. See, yeah, we came together and we created some presentation, but the one that stood out the most was the one called Stolen Legacy. We did a little skit of it last presentation. But you see all those pictures and those narrative about Imhotep and all of that we read, that came from the presentation and that's just a small part of it. That's a presentation that I lectured in most of the East Coast university, from Miami, from Florida Memorial, FIU, Nova Eastern, to Columbia, North Carolina, all over the place. See? And what I realized, it is part of what makes who I am. I think that was one of the greatest defining moments in my knowledge base development, because I went into institutions with classes now, whether it was political science, religious education, sociology. Those were the classes that we were allowed to lecture to. See? And the questions that came is not even what I said that was important, because what I said is knowledge that exists. It's not something that I created, and I am not a special because of that. But what made me better was the questions that those young minds posed to us, because after every presentation we have a Q&A, and the questions that they posed, and remember now, two bearded face Rastaman standing before many elites, because some of these were elites coming from rich homes, affluent homes, and all of that, and well learned, came into college on scholarships because they were brainiacs. See, I is no brainiac. I is just studied to be approved. But the questions that they posed throughout each presentation is what developed I, because from the first presentation and the questions we got, we went and we studied those questions and how to respond to those questions. Maybe the first lecture we did, maybe we didn't really respond that good to the question, then we just skipped by the best we could. But after that, we studied those questions, and each presentation that we did, the questions that came from the students improved I. So what you said a while ago, sharing knowledge with them and learning from them, made I man better within I, knowledge base, where I am able to learn more now and to also share, or what them call teach, what I have learned. So yes, my lord, lovely statement.
My lord.
Chris Brown's hand was up, and Samsung SMA065M.
I think I preach, yeah.
I preach as well. I preach
Chair.
as well.
Chris Brown.
Yeah, it's grand affair.
Yeah.
Blessed Lord, my Lord and Empress.
My lord.
I just give thanks for the levels, You see, what I observe, from a personal experience, ones and ones never know that this journey would come down to intellectuality. Many are one that are more look for more physical, military, struggle. So one's never prepare themselves for the intellectual level. And we have to, then it came to my awareness, even from something that happened the other day with a youngster who came to me telling me him go for common entrance, but him come to me with a little piece of paper, like somebody sent him a shop, and him couldn't read whether upon the paper him come to me for read with him. So me have to go in on myself and say, but if you can't read this, how am I pass common entrance? So you see, the one at a time as a youth, me didn't active in a thing with them called Into the Light, back to literacy program. So we have to take up a serious, and ones who want to uplift themselves need to go to take up reading and comprehension, because you can't just read. Because the man that asked them say Ethiopian, you look, understand this, though what thou readest. So it's not just to read, it's to come understand or comprehend, analyze what you read. Give thanks, my Lord and Empress. All blessing and all bless.
My lord. Give thanks, my lord.
Chair.
Rastafari. Yes, my lord.
Yes. The art program that is running in Jamaica. I reach out to a couple of the Baba youth them, right? Priest Yana, some youth up there. Priest Alchi, you know what I mean? And I reach out to them because I kind of have a link on the art place, you know what I mean? And, it is a good place where, can give man them paper also, because I'm still going for my paper also as a welder, you know what I mean? Because paper is good when you have that, yes. So I reach out to a couple of the Baba youth them, and that them don't really take it up. I give them that opportunity. I send for them, that have this link down at the heart, And you have a German place, I don't know if they are them, remember that German place where we used to go through the VW, and as a young prophet at the moment, you know, I did interested, for that connection with the camp they have with this place here. If I could have, you know, get a passage to go that place. But sometimes, just like we hear Mama Maisie say, sometimes when you come, individual never know that the state where we're in now would have be here. Because man, feel like when you come to the camp, you know, if you even go back out in the world like that German place and it's to the camp make we could have go in at this German place because we have the VW, and it's on them they could have worked on the VW engine at the moment. So going to that place I self did I glorify if I continue in this mechanical field, because remember is I go feel like I come out you see it and I go really say man really hold me down, but me couldn't put it to the man there because when me see I go on night camp, I mean I'm out the road now, I make whole heap of money, right? Every week, or 2 week, depend on when me work done. And one of the time I put it to the man and say, did I go out the road, go do something? And the man then make it look like I was, saying something I miss wrong. That the road come to and say, just say you're free to go and do what you're doing, but don't tell no one is just saying you. So it does even still come further away when I come with the money, the priest said, just say, I must go and build a house out the road with that money. So, I even feel good because me never go out if you go make a money, if you go build a house out the road, because they don't leave the world. But when you look now and you see, say, the camp need help because, that nutrition, we should have take place in the foundation, it was, not up to standard as what we should have heat. You know what I mean? Yeah, so, so some of the time, as the Empress said, we kind of hold on one another when it comes on to even education too. When you come at the camp, you couldn't go see something, where you'd have glorify, Yet you could have see that and you could have more free to because we are still free people, but sometimes we wonder that make you feel and make it look like a Jah. I do all of this. And it wasn't Jah which a high and I amongst itself I did this, to one another. And if you check these individuals who used to doing that now, how them living today on perfect love right family.
My Lord, bless. Yes, I. Flow. One
To the,
question that it.
to the chair,
Yeah.
my lord,
Yes, Auntie.
somebody's before me.
No, go ahead.
Nice priest what?
Anyway, priest, I give thanks for today's reasoning, right? And I give thanks to all what's said and done. This is a hopeful reasoning, and I really glorify, we have this platform, the Elder Council platform, where, we can come together and reason, of anything and everything. You see that? And we always leave the platform with a fulfillment. And we can always share with another one what we have learned today or how the reason go. Because when I always come up with the reason, my daughters, they would say, so Mama, how the reason go today? How was it? And so on. And so we would have a conversation and so on. But Priest Earl, when you speak today, this just now, about, and you carry the money, and they tell us, say, if you go build the house outside, my lord, I felt bad because I go through the same situation. And the brethren then that was in the office, to me, they have their speciality and they didn't love. It's not everybody they did love. So who they never feel or who they never like, them dish them with some unpleasant food. You understand? To make your heart feel bad and make it look like it's the Father saying it. And I used to say, how could the Father for us all to be sending all these, words of unpleasant words to him one children, him one son. You understand? But I learned that enough of the time they say that I say. And others, and up to now that I gone for 30 odd years, but they still say that I say, the man say. And them not saying anything. So it's with an understanding, my brother. And I give thanks for those who will understand within themselves and don't look at the Father, anywhere, right? And no say that is for us all. And in deal with us with equality for one and for all. And that always bless us, and send us love, and so on and so on. So I give thanks. I know my Father, and I give thanks to the teaching of my God. And that is what carried me today. I don't hold on the negativity. I look for the positive, and the good teaching with the understanding of my King. You understand? Who helped me to see through the negative. I give thanks, my Lord. Blessed Lord.
Blessed love, honorable Empress, Majesty. What is the next question?
Blessed love, my Lord.
Oh, precise what? Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say something about the glass breaking ceremonies and how what that caused, right? But I came off and I came back on. But life is philosophy of set cause of beliefs and principles that guide persons' thoughts, feelings, and actions. It is an essential framework of understanding the world and one place in it, influencing how individuals make decisions, interpret experiences, and ultimately live their life. Core beliefs of philosophy are built upon the fundamental beliefs about nature and of reality, the purpose of life, what it constitutes, a meaningful existence, decision making. These beliefs provide a compass for navigating life's challenges and opportunities, shaping how individuals prioritize action to make choices, meaning, and purposes. A life philosophy helps individuals find meaning and purpose for their experiences, providing a sense of direction and motivating evolutionary adaptation. Life philosophies can evolve and it can adapt over time as individuals learn from experiences and grow. Personal values, they often are the reflection of individual core and honesty in comparison to personal freedom, a sense of purpose and resilience. This was just about life. So we have to know what we are doing here pertaining to these things that I'm speaking about. So we are talking about life, and I will go into the broken glass effect. The broken glass effect is not a singular formula defined as termed by most contexts, but generally refers to either a concentric factor in the physical sense or shattered glass effect. Here are specific names depending on the context. Forensic science and physics has glass breaks as several fractures as patterns and use that as calculated patterns, and they have specific names for different reasons. There are radical fractures, there are all kinds of fractures. But I want to go into the symbols of the design of the breaking glass because they use the breaking glass in the Jewish weddings. to symbolize a climatic performance at the end of the ceremony, while historical ties to remembering the destruction of the temples at Jerusalem. The breaking glass is one of the most iconic moments of the Jewish wedding, rich with multiple layers of meaning. Remembrance and humility. Most of the accepted, rooted rabbis, they scatter their glass in their ceremonies as a destruction of the first and the second template in Jerusalem. Even in moments of real joy, the Jewish dictates that the couple pause to acknowledge the tragedies of the past, and then they are broken two glasses. Many of the rabbis use it and the spiritual leaders to interpret fragility in human relationship and the glass as a metaphor for marriage. Just as a beautiful, delicate piece of glassware can be easily broken and must be handled with care, the couple's love and commitment required consistent nurturing to avoid shattering. So that is why they break the glass in the Jewish ceremony, my Lord and Majesty. So the glass breaking thing, it uses to start for the beginning of things, the break glasses too. So we need to do a little research and a little study on the things that we say so that we can go deeper and just become better every day. Give thanks for the listening and rapt attention and a pleasant day to one and all, my Lord and Empress.
Blessed my Lord. Rastafari. What's the next question?
Blessed love.
Blessed love.
Question number 8. What part does economics play in the priesthood? What part does economic play in the priesthood? I heard Priest Earl just now touch on it briefly within his walk. So, my Lord.
Anyone want that? I think that question self-explanatory to it. Even though we know we are moving towards that, it never really used to be so like we wasn't fully concentrated, or it had other people. We wasn't concentrated more on a universal, cooperative strength or level. You know, survival is always there. Economics always play a very important part in everybody's life. But to the degree we needed to have it, we didn't. And we need to have it to that degree, wherein we are self-reliant as a Congress, you know, and empowering each other. My Lord and Empress, floor is open.
Through the chair.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because we were taught this sackcloth and ashes philosophy or ideology, you know, the sackcloth and ashes, you know, we even quoted biblical scriptures to endorse our poverty. You know, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter into the kingdom. See, so now that defines everything right there. I want to go and say, yeah, rich man. Now you say you're born into wealth as one. You're born into a family that made their money from land, sold land, from an invention or something, and you were born into that family, so you inherited wealth. But you sight up Rastafari and you want to live that divine life. you have to relinquish that wealth and relinquish that before you can partake of the salvation. See, that is the kind of culture that we got. Now, when the time came for the Africa mission to be established, it cost a lot of money. One ticket was $2,000. So if you're sending a delegation of 7, how much thousand that? See, you're looking at $14,000 off the bat. And that is just for the ticket, not what they're going to have to pay for the hotel that they're going to stay in and for the transportation that they're going to move around and to the food that they're going to eat. So in a reality, the mission that I and I is on as a Congress requires money, not little bit of money either. Because if we are establishing what you call a repatriation program, you need infrastructure. You're moving from here to Ghana. You're going to go to Ghana. You're going to live somewhere. See? Because we are a community. We are a village. We're going to construct a village to build those homes. We're not going home to Africa to build Wackland Dab and Mud Hut. Because the emperor never come teach us that, and the emperor is our symbol of excellence. And him come teach you about palace living. See? So you're going home to build a decent home where you can bring your family. See? If you're going to want to survive, you want a little vehicle to move around. See? You want a business. First of all, you want a business. So you need to have some seed money to establish that business. So here, how much money I've just spoken about, just in the simplistic nature. We don't even get complicated yet. But we are taught that, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter into the kingdom. See? And we interpret those things very literal, as the Honorable Priest Sevens highlighted. Very literal. See? Because now we are, okay, an example is, I hear ones and ones tend to lick down the Marley family, and I've used this often, for being a wealthy family. See? Now, as a wealthy family, I see them do a holy for Rastafari. They did not just use them wealth for themselves. Bob go out and, which part, Scott's part, Bingy House did set up. That piece of land there, he bought and gave to Rastafari before him tried. See? Now, Sister Rita, when she migrated to Ghana, she adopted a village. She did many things for that village. Mama Desta was telling me while she was there, she said Sister Rita go and pick up children off and off of the road and carry them come our house and bathe them, put them in good clothes, feed them. If she didn't have money, she couldn't do those things. So it takes money to even help our predicament, our family's predicament, to help to elevate them from the poverty level that we find ourselves trapped in. See? And it is part of our problem right now as a Congress. Because we say we are a government within a government. Can we affect the people's needs? Their needs are not just spiritual, Spiritual is part of it. But their needs are not just spiritual. See, we spoke about this already, the Sermon on the Mount. Before the people them would settle down and listen to the message that the Messiah carried, he had to feed them. He had to address their temporal needs. As a government, can we affect those kind of situations? Can we help the people's temporal needs? So this is some of the Christian narrative, and some of the resistance narrative, because some of this is because we were resisting Babylon, which nothing is wrong with that. But we have to do it with an understanding. it's time to let go of that sackcloth and ashes mentality. See? And I don't mean give up that humbleness, or that humble state of being, but knowing that the money is not what is evil, It's the love of the money. It's using, it's going after that money in evilous ways, doing anything to achieve it. That is the problem. See? But if you are able to acquire funds in a legitimate, upright way, there's nothing wrong with it. And if you can acquire billions, then you can affect millions of lives. You understand? The guy from Amazon, Jim Bezos, or whoever he means. If I and I was in his position right now, Africa, certain parts of Africa wouldn't be struggling right now because I and I would know how to spend that money. And you don't have to give it away, and become broke, Invest it properly into your people. Build universities, build hospitals, build factories, build farms. You understand? So economics, and I love that question. It makes us think economics has to be part of our curriculum, teaching how the priesthood order is going to sustain itself. Because these are not the days of when the village is taking care of the priests. In modern times, that doesn't happen anymore. See, and we are not a culture that sends around collection plate. So how do we fund our programs that we need to fund? How do we pay for a scholarship for one of our bright angels to go learn engineering, so he or she can come forward now and assist us in building bridges and all the things that we need to build? How can we fund a scholarship to send one of our bright minds to study law, so we can have a full grasp of the human rights law, how to protect ourselves, how to use the law to our advantage and not be a victim of the law that we have been for the majority of our lives. See? So family economics has to be one of the priority, if not the number one priority in our development going forward. Or might as well we close shop, because if we have a shop and we can't feed the people, then the shop is not working. Blessed Lord.
My Lord, I think we have a consensus, everyone, definitely have to address our economic base. So what's the next question?
Is a priest a title or a character?
That's
Question
number 10.
9.
Number 10.
Question number 9. Is a
Okay.
priest a title or a character? With all that has been said today, my Lord.
Yeah. I think that, yeah. Make sure man that, the word priest is not a nickname. Because right now it have it like a nickname down here in Trinidad, Rasta.
Everywhere.
Because they don't see the divinity in the cell. They don't see the divinity in the office itself. You know that way? And so they don't put in that effort. I even see a priest this morning and him talking to me. And I pay a cuss word come out of the priest for him. I say, I'm upset. And I say, yeah, I know you're upset, but my Lord, you're a priest, And then mumble a kind of excuse. I know it's not right. But we not raising the bar. The bar is low right now for the priest them. Low. We cussing out one another when we get upset, cussing out woman, priest cussing woman. Oh man. So definitely a
Honorable
priest.
Chair, what do you think is the cause of that? Let us get to the root cause. What do you think is the cause of it? Why we are so low within that level of thought and action? What is it that is bringing us down to that level?
Well, I see the lack of lack of a better word, the lack of character, the lack of moral, ethic values, because even when we were the so-called clique, in the clique, we still move into that, we're even keeping one another to the ethical value of a human being, first and foremost, before even a priest. So, because, what is the cause, my lad?
How did they become a priest? How did we become a priest then? If
well,
we
that
did
is
not exhibit.
the bar was low. The bar was low. So they get priesthood. Wasn't like to say a man up full it. A lot of favoritism, you know. A priest down here, anytime him thing I must ask him, where him get him, who gave him leading priest? Him can't even say. Cause I believe he just take it for himself. And nobody now oppose him. Cause him start up that kind of a, Bucky Master spirit, you know. So it's pure, our values has been watered down, my Lord. And we refuse to acknowledge it and try rise it. Or we might want to rise it, but just don't know the technique. My Lord, floor is open. Where's it? You want to praise?
So I think I answered that question several times already, but yeah, it can go on again because we all come to this conclusion and I constantly remind us, Honorable Chair, that, the Honorable Priest Nappy established that from early out. We are building character, seeing, and within that character, seeing, it's a priestly character. A priest, you start out at being ordained as a priest, but as you live, you become a priest. It is no
Rasta.
longer just, it's no longer just a title to say, well, I am a priest. The title is the leading part or the acting part, maybe the title. But the priest part, you become that. And if you don't become that over a period of time, then you're not in the right profession, you're not in the right liberty, the right order.
And the office itself minister to you. If you open your heart, the office itself minister to the eye, my Lord.
My Lord.
Through the chair,
Honorable
Majesty.
Priest
Yeah.
Nappy.
Yes, man. I listen, my lord. Give thanks to the reasoning, And we know how it got in at the earlies. The priests, them usually supposed to minister to just certain things still, Never inundate too much of the economics and all of that. But different times, you have to have different measures, you know what I mean? And when I come in at the camp, I already have a degree. So it's not like I did one if I go study or not. I did already acquire a certain skill per se. Where I never did go just sit down on it. I did go build on it, which we do over the years differently, you know what I mean? So, there was never even a thought in my head about not trying to acquire a skill. I try to find a means where you can take care of your economics. You know what I mean? And right now, that is one of the key where we really want to find. Once we can find that Majesty, because that is the biggest thing that we are getting, is economics. Once we find that, my Lord, that we can do something collectively and earn, I think you see a better I and I, Much better I and I, my Lord. Yes, I. Give thanks.
Rastafari.
To the chair.
Honorable President or Secretary.
Blessed love, my Lord. I have a question from our YouTube family who is on live at the home office. First, they mention, my people say a woman is a glass. And second, they have a question. So the first question is, how do
Family, lock your mic and lock your mic, family, and listen to the secretary, please.
Go ahead, please, Empress.
First question. How do hygiene function outside the camp? Second question. What has the black man's book of the prophecy to do with it? Here's the person's first question at the home office. How do hygiene function outside the camp? And second question, what has the black man's book of the prophecy to do with it? Anyone can answer that for our
Honorable
YouTube
Chair,
family.
is that clear to you? Is that clear to you, Honorable Chair? Are you maybe I'm
Yeah.
missing something?
Yeah. Go ahead, Empress.
No, I said maybe I'm
How
missing
do
something.
hygiene function outside the camp?
How do we function outside the camp? Morally and ethically,
With
have a
love
high
and
standard.
respect.
Yeah, with
With love and
my
respect.
Lord, with humility and dignity.
And Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16 to 20. We read it before.
Yes.
All right.
If
The
the one
second
if
question.
the one could get more explicit in what they mean when they say function outside the camp in a specific, like give us an example, we could better answer that question. But that is as far as we can answer it at this point. Uprightness, no matter where we are, we're supposed to function uprightly. We are supposed to minister to the people's needs. We are spiritual ambassadors. So we always supposed to carry that message of salvation. See?
Upward
And be Christ,
conversation.
yes. And be Christ-like in our demeanor. They say, how
Yeah.
do you know the disciples of Christ? By the love that you feel when you're in their presence. So we're supposed to have that, like many times when Baba go on any scene, whether it is among other races or just out there in the community, you would hear the people say, it's only when the money come through, you hear them vibes and you feel them vibes. That's how you know, say, you are representing
Yeah.
that you're supposed to. Blessed family.
And the second question, I don't get it. The black book have to do with what?
Empress D?
What?
Pardon me, sorry, I didn't know I was mute, sorry. The second question is, what has the black man's book of the prophecy to do with it?
What is the black man's book of the prophecy?
Tell them they will have to make themselves a little more plainer. What does the black man book of the prophecy has to do with it? If they could make themselves a little plainer,
Well, they're listening
more
to us live,
clearer
so maybe we will
understanding.
get our next question and I will bring
Honorable,
it
Honorable
forward.
All words of
Empress.
right. All words of right are belong to I and I. All words of right. So if what they're meaning is if it's a positive message coming from that book that they're speaking of, then it's positive and it's inspiring. If not, then we leave it alone. Just like in the Bible itself, the Father said to read good books. The man said it's symbolic. So you hold on what belongs to you and you leave the rest to those who it belongs to. See, that's the best I can say towards that question right now at this point, unless they get more specific. Other members of the platform might have a better answer. It's up to ones to respond.
Yeah, the floor is open. All right. So, any more questions, Empress?
Question number 10 is, how does the Empress impact the priesthood on a spiritual level? Repeat.
That's a nice question to come to culminate on. I like that. That's a nice question for us to seal up on.
And with that, we go open the floor. I don't want to
How
talk
does
first.
the Empress impact the priesthood on a spiritual level?
We're listening. We empresses and
Right.
yeah, man, empresses. You can answer. You know, we are your brothers are here listening.
We want to hear from the priest them too. How does it
Yes,
impact? That's the
yes,
key.
but the empresses, but we are always
Because
answering.
yeah, the empress them know how they want to be impacted, what impact they want to give, so they could tell us what they expect, what impact they want to give. But we must be
Right.
able to identify the impact that they bring to us.
But we're giving the item as the royal empresses the first sound if the item choose to take it. Empress Akim.
What impact do the empresses and them uh, would be, what positive impact would the empress and them see themselves given to the priest on a spiritual level?
Empress Trisha. I'm amazing.
Well,
Oh
me now
God.
you know sound, so me no know me could have contact.
Tap on Empress
Akim
Akim,
on the
tap
platform.
Akim door.
Hi, I was just sitting here laughing. I was looking to hear from the priest first because I was like, well, let us hear from their perspective. What do we bring? But I know that as a woman, right? And we talked about this last week when we talk about the maternal energy. We are mothers first. And although we are adults in a way of thinking about our liberty, right? Not to say that we are looking at our counterparts or our priests as our sons, but yet and still in the spiritual aspects, we are mothers. So allow us to bring that kind of energy where we are edifying you. And I looked up the definition of edifying. To edify means to instruct or improve someone's mind or character, particularly in a moral, spiritual, or intellectual way. It involves uplifting a person and helping them grow in knowledge, faith, or virtue. And I think that's where we bring the balance. That we are here to listen, we're here to learn from you, but we also are listening to Christ and saying, okay, how can we bring things to a true fullness and balance? And I think that's what we bring. We listen to learn, but we also listen to edify. And I'll stop there.
Give thanks, Honorable Empress Aki. Floor is open. Please,
Come on, give thanks royal empress. Nice.
Empress Miriam.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Okay.
Hey. Well, I know that I gave a good impact on the priests, them, by working with them and supporting them in a good, positive way, and strengthening them as an empress, a royal empress,
Undoubtedly.
spiritually, temporally, and spiritually. I have manners to them and they respected me. They see it as an empress my kingman is a royal priest, and a royal elder of the Congress. I have to live an exemplary life that, it can shine on him and on me. You understand? So I look, for my brothers, them as royal priests to live hopeful that I can continue to learn from them, and to fulfill, my heart with, because I love good teaching. I love to support and to strengthen the salvation. And that's why today, even though my king is not here with me, I keep on keeping on strengthening, the work of Jah, never give up. So as an empress, my strength, is with the honorable priest them, You know, and I just love them to just live up. You know, just live up, man. You understand? And just make your light shine on them. You know, and as we continue to do his work, you understand? As I continue to learn from the honorables, them, and them is learning from me too. You understand? So we are learning from each other as we go along. But I say, I am a priestess, you know, because my king was a priest, a royal priest for the order of Melchizedek. So I will ever continue to strengthen, you know, the priests them and look for betterment and look continue to teach us. You know, as God teach them, they teach us. And that is my little saying concern. You know, the question still, I hope
Response.
I don't go offline. I always
No,
go
okay.
offline.
You're right on point.
Yes, so
Right
yes.
on point.
Mama Maisie, one thing me personally learned from you is strength. If I can be half as strong as you have shown yourself to be, I will be good. So give
Sure.
thanks for your strength, Mama. You know?
Yes.
My
Yes.
God.
Yes.
And a rebel.
Rastafari.
Blessed love. Good
Floor is
day.
open.
Blessed love.
Branch is still blessed.
I know one of the questions was on innovation, right? So that means we're looking forward to the future and to upliftment and betterment and everything. But this question brought a old-time calypso back to my mind from here in Trinidad. And it goes like, bring back the old-time days.
Yeah.
Bring back the old-time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old-time days. You know? So
Yeah.
within hearing this question and hearing that song, I just meditate on when I was younger, being part of a unity and camp and everything. And when it was Sabbath and my father would have been reading Psalms or teaching the youths and them how to read Psalms, how to build Psalms and thing, as small as it was, as young as we was, you know. And it was a togetherness and a oneness, and the priests and them would always have us in a in a fun but nurturing stead, in with all humility and understanding and love. I wish my priests and them could get back to there. Remember that childlike feeling in the eye and themselves where they could channel certain energies within themselves to even bring back a speck of humbleness within their heart where they could deal with children, where they could deal with a sister and a woman where she would be free to sit down and listen and not feel like, I can't talk to he might want to lift up my skirts. No. When they see Bobo Shanti priest, they must see respect. They must see honor. And a woman must feel glad to sit down and talk to them. A child must feel glad to hang over the wall and heal them and say, Bobo, like long time, you know. Bring back that kind of lightness, that brightness, that love and respect and honor that Rastafari command when we step. That's the impact I would love to see
Rastafari.
in my brothers, in my priests. Blessed
I
love.
feel you. Feel you, Honorable Empress. Yeah. Yeah.
Blessings.
Honorable Royal Tech.
Yes, I'm sorry for taking so long to come forward, but I have to be in and out of the
Don't
YouTube,
feel no
you
way.
know what's going on there. How does the empresses impact the priest on a spiritual level? You know, coming into this order, we realize as empresses how divine, you know, when we see the priest them, the turban man them, the priest them, the royal priest them, It's like we're seeing God. And that's a different experience than any other experience of going to any other church or any other denomination that is out there. You know, we first see the God within the item. Even coming forward here, you know, we're here to strengthen the priest them. We're here to make certain that certain things are done on a timely basis, that we help to elevate if the item need if the priest them needs someone to, you know, not really a sounding board, but that person that can just listen and come with that motherly, nurturing advice. Because as empresses, we see things on a different level than the priest them. We might go into a tabernacle and the priest them see, you know, it's Irie, the benches there and everything, and the empress them going to say, well, you know, the benches could use a little cushion on them, you know, or we could use a little flushing, this and that. We come up with creative ideas to help the priest. We come up with great ideas to help the priest bring the Congress where it needs to be. And this is one of the aims and objectives of why we are who we are, why we're doing what we do. We come up, you know, we're here to strengthen the priesthood, just like a mother will nurture her youth and she will teach her youth and she will help her youth. We're here to help the brethren, you know, do the hard task. Because most times, even though we might be a little more fragile than the men, we have a great understanding or another way of reasoning. While a priest, a lion is always going to roar, the lioness is going to calm the roar. So we're here to assist. We're here to help the priest them. We need to see the priest them doing what they say that they're going to do. Even within the works of the Congress itself, you know, just helping put everything into manifestation, helping, you know, bring, whether it's a constitution, working on it, whether it's working on what we're doing today, whether it's whatever it may be, you know, even if it's a letter that is written, helping rewrite the letter, doing whatever needs to be done, because we know we are capable and we are able to do it, and we're capable and we're able to help the priests to move the Congress forward. My Lord and Empress, bless you.
Honorable Royal Tech, do give thanks for your input all the time.
Nice to say.
Floor is open.
Blessed love.
Honorable Goddess Divine, Majesty.
So, how do one's, so for me, I support the priest whenever he have anything to do, any function, anything, I be there, you know, to help do whatever need necessary to done, do. I encourage the man, I encourage him, we honor them, and we correct them. You know, we subtly correct them. So, because sometimes, you know, they say a wrong thing, they do a wrong thing. So we should be able to correct them with love, you know. And I find where we strengthen them and everything, you know, it builds the relationship, it builds the clarity, and it even helps them to elevate in everything, his creativity, his emotions, reactions, and everything. So, you know, every day you tell him a good word, you know, you encourage him, and I find that to be very helpful in his growth and everything. So we support them on them and everything they do, but most of all, we should be able to correct them too. Blessed love.
Honorable Goddess Divine, Majesty.
Remember the Elkanah pre-times lady, Elkanah, what did you do? Thank you.
Yeah, after this question, Sheila, we're gonna have the Elkanah right there. Any man want to give him clear answers to say the impact that the empresses have on the us on a spiritual, even on temporal level?
Yes, Royal Priest.
Yes, Honorable Priest, sir.
Yes, give thanks again for the mother and honor. Yes. And as a priest on the altar, right? And you don't have the empress over that side, right? Because remember the good old days, when even one of the musicians, every time him look back, but him not look back on the man them. Him always
Yeah.
looking back on the
At the
empress.
end,
You see?
Rastafari.
So Wagwan, when the empress them are not there, it's like, the cook in a pot, right? And they don't have no salt, to
Yeah.
flavor the. So
Yeah.
when the empress them are not there, that's coming like it's not even a good item.
Yes,
It's fresh
right.
food. You see? So I remember Mama Maisie and I remember even Empress Sonia, Mama Lily. But me I talk about the voices them now. You have certain
Yes.
voice when when they are there, you can hear them, Empress Sonia, Mama Maisie there on. You know what I mean? Yes, they have a strong voice. So what them do toward the harder, them keep it up. You see? And I learn now how to feed them with the food also. Make them keep it up because the empress them know say, especially even when a chorus are sing, right? You know that part where the priest them go yell out. If you're not going to yell, just make them start it over for them quick and then them take it up. But sometimes it's right there, so them kind of allow it because them don't know what the priest them going to do if them going to heal. So over the years is a learning thing also how to even minister with the strong voice empress them for them keep it up for you, right? It just
Rastafari.
start over that part where them expecting you now to come and heal and you see how the thing don't drop. You know what I mean? Because they so
Mm.
at all time, them don't know if you're going to heal, so them don't come in at that time because they are waiting on the priest and
Yeah.
the heart. So them give us a great strength, when it come on to the singing and just by their present are there, the empresses, 'cause when you're there at the service and young girl, dear brethren, it no balance. But when you have the empress them, young one, elder one, because as man, sometimes we maybe don't tell the empress them that we love how they look as full moon. You see, sometimes monks we as Baba with them talk them type of thing there. But to the glorify how they impress them bright and keep the thing, as how it will look. Because even when you go out there right, you don't have the empress then amongst you. It still come further way, they have a one empress. And if Mama means, I go, I'm pretty sure say, him not go. She say, no man, you have to come. So that kind of give me a strength still as a priest. You know what I
Rastafari.
mean?
Yes,
To,
I.
to double up and come one perfect love.
Honorable Priest, my Lord. Any other priest before we go into the health corner? Well, for my part, first the presence. The empresses and them make the place, especially when they come out there with the fall really white. Them call a Christmas tree. They just buy it and they put it in the yard. But that tree said nothing until you put all the decorations them on it. So the empresses and them give it that decoration, up the place as the priest when you look to the left. So you see them all there. And then the voices, you know your congregation, so you know certain him you can rise. Because the empress and youth princesses them too. When the empresses and the youth prince, them, their voices rise, blend with the man them voice. And then now, if me ever make a statical move, me love move with an empress or two. If it's three away and two empress or, but an empress had to be in the mix. The presence alone does command respect. Command like what you saying? Yeah, like they want to hear what we say when they see empress with me, especially a empress and a you too. So yeah, so spiritually they impact us with their looks and the inspiration. I mean, not make a man feel more confident and iron himself when he and the empress is in good terms. Now man leave out time house a winner before he take the first step outside. And that same man, him and the empress not in a good vibes, him not leaving out the house with that kind of a confidence. So they are, when we work together hand in hand, oh, what a mighty bond. Nothing can break that bond. So we have to keep that, not even with man and woman, brother and sister also, you know. So, yeah, my
Mm.
Lord and Empress.
To the
Majesty.
chair, I just want to say this precisely to the chair.
Yeah.
I remember at Wharf Chase every Sabbath morning when I come in, I used to come in for Sabbath when I don't rest on the mountain.
Right.
And precisely, hey boy, sometimes my voice raise up the brethren them to come to service. So then to me say, Mama, you
Yeah.
me here, sisters tell me
Yeah.
that from way over
Yeah, man.
the village. They say,
Yes, I.
Mama, me is your voice me here. And I say, no, sir. Me have to come a service. And you wake
Rastafari.
me up. Yeah, man, and we
Yeah.
used to have good service, lovely
Yes, man.
service. Feel
Very
so
good.
happy amongst the brothers, them. Feel so happy amongst the sisters, them. Singing, and when we're done service, we're about like a conversation. We're eating, we're drinking, we're laughing, we're giving God thanks. My Lord, those days are beautiful days. And I
Give
hope
thanks
and
to the
pray that you come back.
memories.
Yeah, I hope and pray that you
Got
come back
some
to
people
walk
with
chase.
amnesia. Got some
Mm-hmm.
people with amnesia. Short memories.
Yes,
Through
my
the
Lord.
chair, my Lord and Empress.
Honorable Majesty Bless.
My input, my Lord and Empress, is from, let's say, the mystical perspective. The importance of the journey of the woman when done with certain mystical accordance. As I would mention, the cycle is buried in the earth and a plant is planted on top of it. Is a mystical work for preparation for the generation and cutting and clearing. So the journey, I know I greatly acknowledge for Mama doing that journey, because it is to put a barrier against evil, bloodshed, strife, and all type of negative things. My Lord and Empress, give thanks.
Majesty Bless, my Lord. Anyone have any other thing? If not, we'll make Empress Goddess
But,
Divine.
my Lord,
Yes, I.
just want to add my own now before they feel
Yeah.
up. Yeah, we give thanks to the royal empresses. They are the balance in the equation. On a spiritual level, they keep I and I centered. Like Mama made you say, them is the checks and balances. We are as brethren, we tend to either be, intellectually jostling, religiously jostling, or, too much testosterone being displayed. The empress them bring a balance. They will speak.
Rastafari.
Yeah, they will speak to us and in our way where we listen, especially as Empress Akim said, from that motherly level to say, yeah, my son, this is how, you should do it or you shouldn't do it or, balance you forward. That's why
Rastafari.
in this whole liberty, there is no competition and there is no devaluing of each other, because what the empresses bring to the table, see, is a necessity. Just like what I and I bring to the table is a necessity.
Natural.
We are of equal value. See, without the item in I and I midst. When the item is on this platform or on any platform where I and I is as priest, it rises the whole vibe to a next level. If the item is not
Yes,
there, just
man.
here man on man. Two done gone. The only reason why we stay on these platforms so long on Sundays is because of the item presence, simple as it may seem. So
That's
I man,
right.
man, I give thanks to the royal empresses of the Christ family, because the item keep I and I in check as royal priests. Blessed of family.
My Lord, give thanks. If no other one, Honorable Goddess Divine, you can give us the health corner. Honorable Empress. Is the Empress there?
Sister Divine?
Goddess
Yes,
Divine, unmute your mic.
pardon I, honorables. So cancer, I'm speaking on cancer today, and I start off, what is cancer? Cancer is when cells in the body grow out of control and don't die when they should. They can form lumps, tumors, and spread to other parts of the bodies. Types of cancer, where it's that carcinomas, skin, breast, lung, colon. That's the most common cancers we have here. Sarcomas, bone, muscle, and connective tissues. Leukemia cancer is based with blood and bone marrow. Lymphomas, lymphatic system. The brain, CNS, tumors, brain and spinal cord. They are 100 specific types. Breast, lung, colon, prostate, skin are the most common worldwide cancer we experience today. What causes cancer? They don't have any single cause, but it's usually a mix. Genetic, inherited mutation, like BRCA1, BRCA2, lifestyle, meaning tobacco, excess alcohol, poor diet, lack of exercise. Environment, UV radiation, certain chemicals, pollutions, all of these causes cancer. Infections, hepatitis, HPV, all of these cause cancer. BCH, pylori, all of these infection aids the developing cancer in our bodies. No age bracket. The risk gets, as we get older, it increases the risk of having cancer, developing cancer. Common warning signs varies by types. Unexplained weight loss or fatigue, lumps or thickening under skin, changes in skin, moles, or sores that don't heal, persistent cough, hoarseness, or trouble swallowing, changes in bowel, bladder habits, or bleeding, ongoing pain with no clear cause. If anything feels off for 2 weeks, get a check. All of those are signs of development of cancer. We have 5 natural ways to support health, not a cure. These support overall wellness and may lower risk, but they don't replace medical treatment. You could change your diet. You have colorful veggies, fruits, broccoli, berries, garlic, turmeric. All of these limit your development of having cancer. Meat, processed meat, excess sugar, alcohol, all of these could help you prevent the cancer. Movement, 30-minute walking, most days help immune function. Stress and sleep, chronic stress weakens immunity. Prayer, rest, community help, sun protection, avoid burns, use shade, safe sunscreen, no tobacco. It's the biggest single risk factor. Screenings, you could get regular screenings, mammograms, pap smear, colonoscopies, prostate, you could check your prostate. It comes underneath that also. You could catch it early. They say there's no proven cure from herbs alone. If you or someone you love is facing cancer, medical care and early detection save lives. Herb supplements can interact with chemo. So always tell your doctor what you're taking. So I like to counteract on that because I also deal with herbs. And I had a customer, I think she had the pancreatic cancer. And that was the first time she got diagnosed. So the warm lemon and water early in the morning that help alkalinize your blood. So if you find that you have a lump, you can start taking the lemon and water. That's a great treatment. And you change your diet, you take out the sugars, you take out meat. And what else I'd advise you to do? All the margarine, white milk. If you do drink white milk, all of those you take out your diet. So you change your diet. It's number one. The lemon and water helps. And you could drink a form of bush tea, soursop leaves, verbena, custard apple, rooster coon, shepherd needle, all of those I put in a drink. So she changed her diet. She started the lemon and water, and she had 1 gallon of the bush tea. And when she went back to the doctor that night, she didn't have any cancer cells, so she was cured. And I think the very best thing is to trust the process and believe. Once you believe in Almighty, you could get through it. And that was my first question to her, if she believed, because you have to believe in something in order for it to fall true. My Lord and Empresses, blessed love.
Honorable Empress Goddess Divine, do give thanks for your information and your research. Give thanks for all, and every week we try to function section, health center, a health corner, so we could be aware of these things and approach them in a wise way, my Lord and Empress.
Give thanks,
Uh,
Honorable Priest Ansley. I have a question to
Go
the
ahead,
Honorable
Empress.
Empress. Yeah. So, Sister Divine, you said we must drink the warm water with lemon, but lemon is so scarce in Jamaica this time because of Melissa, and even before that, lemon cannot to get in Jamaica. But they have a substitute, the liquid, right? Can I use that? I mean, in the water?
Mama Miriam, you could use that. I suggest you use it twice. And you
Morning and
monitor.
evening?
Yes, and you could monitor how it makes you feel.
Okay. All right. I just want to find Because away
Yes,
from
ma'am.
cancer, I know it's warm water is good for the body. All
It's an
right.
ancient technique. Our water with lemon.
Is there any more family want to ask Sister Divine anything about this deadly disease that affecting, our elders and others? Please
Yes,
feel,
Empress.
Through the
feel
chair,
free.
through the chair,
Thank you.
blessed love.
Blessed.
My Lord and Empress, do give thanks for this moment of healing. What I really requesting of the Empress is really, I would love it's a long time I wanted to catalog, because being part of the nutraceutical industry, it is I've been longing to set up a catalog because there are many challenges around here in Jamaica. I've not yet such. I'm requesting of her if I could link where I could have sent certain pictures of certain herbs around me here in my community here in Jamaica, and we could have formed a catalog within our community, my Lord and Empress.
My Lord. I had to, the I and the Empress can make that link. Sounds like a plan, you know? That's stuff.
Yes, right here.
Yes, and love. Let
Yes,
me
my
interject too. At night, Honorable Grace. I find that using the castor oil too is very good in every aspect too. So you could rub that on daily, twice a day, 3 times a day. For the ladies with applying a lump, 'cause I'd experienced that too. And I rub that with the castor oil, and that eliminate the cyst that was growing in the breast too. So the castor oil is very good.
blessed. Honorable Priest says,
Yes. This is the Empress who dealing with the Honorable Priest Bush.
No,
what?
No, she's
Oh,
in a
no,
different region. She's in a different region.
Sister Divine from
oh.
Bahamas.
Yes. So I heard you speak about the shepherd needle, right? Yes. But I make green juice, and that is um one of the main herbs, because even the Guinean, you don't get much out of the Guinean like juice. But the shepherd needle and the Vervian papa leaf, I put all of these together. And we really pass through the honorable priest Kailash, and it will help me along the way. So, I specialize in green juices in Malta, no water, I just pound it and squeeze. Yes, so, yeah, man, I'm perfect love.
Honorable my Lord. Give thanks. Any other questions or comments?
One family ask a question, man. We need to get more understanding in our goodie, and learn more of it. At case you see any symptoms or anything, so well, then what to do. You did at the meeting here what the herbalists say, what to help us. So if you don't feel afraid to ask a question, ask the question about your health, and so we can go to work on it. Thank you.
I would just like to make a statement, blessed. And I would hope I would hope that most of us eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, of course, because we live, everyone except myself live in the islands, or more tropical areas. But even telling our families about staying away from canned items, anything with preservatives, of course. I'm glad that Empress Divine lifted up the fact of what, and I will repeat it just in case ones didn't hear it, but I learned about cancer too, because I would always hear this saying that everyone has cancer. And I'm like, what does that mean? but the process that occurs in the body, every body is capable of having cancer. And what Empress Divine mentioned, and I will reiterate, I learned in biology classes that they're called telomeres. And what happens is they form in the body and they're supposed to die off. It's almost like if you think about the cell line being a line of cells. And at the end of it, it's supposed to renew and fall off. And what happens is they hold on and they accumulate, causing the tumors and things like that, which Empress Divine had mentioned. And what causes them to stay are preservatives. So the more that we stay away from foods that are preserved, like we shouldn't be eating vegetables in a can, because once you cut it off from the source, it dies. So we shouldn't be eating anything that is preserved to stay alive, that is vegetable. So even telling our family members, our younger ones, to eat out of cans, to stay away from that, if possible, because that will cause those things to build up, So yeah, I just wanted to lift that up, stay away from the cans. Bless it.
Good love. Any other points to be brought up? If not, Honorable Priest Earl could have it close here. Priest Earl.
Royal Priest.
My lord. Can't give me the closing.
Yes, I get a second.
Any second?
Second.
My lord.
Yes, Royal family, as I call for reverence, virtually. Truly, I and I soul waited upon Rastafari. From Rastafari cometh thy salvation. Rastafari only is thy rock and thy salvation. Rastafari is thy defense, I shall not be greatly removed. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for us, brethren and sisters, to dwell together in unity and in love. It is like the precious ointment that is upon the head that run down upon the beard, even here and there that went down upon the skirt of his garment. As he drew for a man, and as the dew that ascended upon the mountain of Zion. For here Rastafari command the blessing, even life and love forevermore. So hail our God, Selassie, Jehovah God, Rastafari. O Almighty God, Rastafari, great and terrible God, Rastafari is the Almighty God. Jah seated in Zion and reigned the heart of all flesh. O thou most high, eternal Father, Jehovah God, Rastafari. Hear us and bless us, O Lord, keep and sanctify us all. Cause thy holy face to shine upon us, thy children, that we shall be saved and redeemed. O thou most high God, Jah Rastafari. The mighty King, even Rastafari, has spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, Rastafari shall shine. Rastafari shall come and shall not keep silent. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempted round about him, said the Holy One of creation. Holy Emmanuel, King Selassie, Jah Rastafari.
Rastafari.
One perfect love, royal family, just keeping it
My
black and
Lord
beautiful.
and Majesty. Rastafari.
Blessed
Yes,
love.
my Lord and Majesty. Each and every one are blessed, strong. Moving forward, all barriers break down. Drops
My
and
Lord,
dead
Majesty.
to the way.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
My
Royal
Lord.
family. Once again, give
Blessed,
thanks.
Blessed love,
Boy.
everyone.
Blessed love.
blessed
Royal